Last podcast on the left is all about the facts. So when Southern New Hampshire University came on as a sponsor, it was time to do some research. Turns out they offer more than 200 online degree programs, and get this, criminal justice and psychology are some of the most popular. Classes have no set meeting times, and tuition rates are some of the lowest in the U.S. Want to learn even more about SNHU? Visit snhu.edu/last. Insurance isn't one size fits all. That's why drivers have trusted Progressive's Name Your Price tool for years. Just tell Progressive what you want to pay, and they'll show you coverage options that fit your budget. Visit Progressive.com to find a car insurance rate that works for you. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
There's no place to escape to.
This is the last podcast.
On the left. That's when the cannibalism started.
What was that?
Oh boy, it's almost Christmas time and I can't wait. We've been busy all month making all sorts of wooden horses.
Yeah, I know you
making all sorts of PS5s, didn't make enough, and all these 40-year-olds keep buying them instead of the kids. But
Yep.
hey, you know, money's money. That's capitalism here. This Santa's workshop.
You know what's so funny, Elf Twinkles, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Santa Claus. I'm one of the Bobs that works for Santa Claus.
Yeah.
Yeah, you did so much work.
Oh, just hauling
Just
and
2
lifting.
months of work. But unfortunately,
Yeah.
we're going through layoffs. Yeah, so we're gonna go through some layoffs here at the North Pole.
Wait a second, you mean
You're fired. You're fired, Twinkles the Elf.
you mean laid off, right? So
No,
I can
like
get.
fucking fired. Like, get the fuck out, get your shit and go.
Is this because I'm supposed to get that raise coming up, or because I didn't?
Get your shit and get out.
What if I come back here with the fucking crossbow? Holy shit, I had to go through. You remember when Santa changed his name to Solomon and taught us all how to masturbate for that week?
I remember that.
Because that was a rough time. And
Yeah.
I really feel like I should get some kind of hush money for something like that.
I got a hush money right here.
Whoa! Wait a second, that's a money. That's a fucking pound cake. Fuck the shit.
All right, what's up, everyone? Welcome to the last podcast on the left. The only way to bribe an elf is through pound cake. They love sweets.
They do.
Mm-hmm.
Today's episode, it's going to be a lot.
It's going to be, apparently, it's going to be quite disgusting. I was flipping through a little bit of the book here, Savage Messiah, that Henry has, the picture section. And it seems like this Roch Thériault guy didn't like balls.
He definitely had a vendetta.
He hated balls.
Yeah.
So we'll get to all of that. So Marcus
Yes.
worked really, really hard on this story. So we're just going to let him start. As always, Roch Thériault and the Ant Hill Kids.
I also want to say that Marcus prefaced this as we were going through a production call this week. He said, let's call this is the child abuse episode.
I didn't say this is the
Let's
child
call
abuse
it the
episode.
this
I
is
didn't
what
say
you
we'll
said,
call
Marcus?
it. No, I didn't say
Can
we'll
I
call
be
it
on
the
the
child
calls
abuse
every now
episode.
and
I
again?
said it's gonna be the child abuse episode because there's gonna be a lot of child abuse. Just get ready for it. That's just all I said.
I just said, and I said, hell yeah, great. It's sweeps week. This is a really good time to pack it all in right before Christmas.
Well, you know, hey, what? Okay, well, let's hop in. We're going to get through this story of Roch Thériault and the Ant Hill Kids part. Deal? Let's start now.
Ooh, bit of a francophone over there.
A francophone is a phone with body odor. Let's continue.
All right, very good.
So by the summer of 1978, Roch Thériault had gathered a healthy amount of followers using seemingly innocuous Seventh-day Adventist lifestyle guidelines and stop-smoking clinics, all while he and his followers lived in his girlfriend Giselle's apartment. But once fall began approaching, some of Roch's followers, who were all in their late teens and early 20s, started discussing the possibility of ending their summer of guru and returning to their respective educations.
So up until this point, all of these kids essentially were living with Roch
as sort of like of lark. Like, we're having this like fun summer with this guy who says he's God and he's going to teach us how to not smoke anymore, which is actually the least cool way to spend a summer, because I had a lot of cool summers smoking a lot of cigarettes.
Absolutely. It sounds like the sketch with Christina Applegate and David Spade that introduced Matt Foley as the motivational speaker, Chris Farley's character.
Oh my God.
Like if they actually went and moved in with Matt Foley.
Oh my God. Holy shit. Roch Thériault is actually very close to Matt Foley.
Live in a van down by the river.
So Roch, in an attempt to keep his core group together, increased the number of stop smoking clinics and started organizing Seventh-day Adventist vegetarian banquets comprised of Seventh-day Adventist staples like carrot cake, lentil soup, and bean curd casserole.
I definitely had. We had the other day, Natalie got from the Chinese food restaurant, the healthy one.
Well, it's healthy because you can't eat it. So then you're losing weight on top of weight.
She got this little box. I opened it up, and the only way to describe it is it was fucking 3 foreskins in this box. And it just looked like it looked like 3 fucking Robert Irvine's dicks just cut off. Robert Irvine, the big built chef from Food Network.
Absolutely.
He had dick pics come out 2 years ago. I don't know how I saw them the other day.
Jacked guy.
Tiny penis for a huge man.
Well,
And
he's just so big. It's an average penis.
It's so shriveled. So they have all these people folding all these foreskins together to eat, and they don't understand they're about to be producing a bunch of foreskins by force.
Indeed. Ooh, this story is going to get gross.
More importantly, though, Roch told his followers that since Christ was coming, because don't forget, Seventh-day Adventism is halfway a doomsday religion, studying for school was a useless endeavor, not unlike what our man Kissel's mother told him.
You don't have to go to school today. You never know when Jesus is coming back, but I do know one thing. Piggly Wiggly is open. Would you like to go, Ben?
Yes, I would, ma'am.
I loved Piggly Wiggly.
So, since the group were already firmly in Roch's grip, they relented and stayed with their guru. Now, one of the things to remember about Roch, especially in this episode, is that while he was a monster of the most dangerous variety. Unlike awkward weirdos like Marshall Applewhite or more aggressive evangelists like Jim Jones, Roch Thériault was perceived to be extraordinarily charming to most people, even people outside of his cult, and he could therefore talk his way into or out of damn near anything.
Getting through this episode shows me that Roch Thériault, the Anthill Kids, are one of the stickiest cults I have seen in quite a long time. Heaven's Gate, they had 20 people for 20 years, right? Or was it 32? I forget was the final
people,
number.
Yeah, I think so.
They were there for 20 years, so that was sticky. But I feel like those people were always gonna just be sitting in a basement somewhere in San Diego, eating nothing but beans and air and listening to a dude with a bowl cut. They were living their best life.
Nowadays, Heaven's Gate wouldn't have killed themselves. They would just be really into VR.
Oh, that would be fucking dope.
Technology just wasn't where they needed it.
But the Anthill Kids, they have multiple opportunities. He just somehow, Roch just got these motherfuckers.
Well, naturally, they'll be sticky. They are kids, and God knows they're always getting into something, aren't they?
No, by kids, we mean teenagers, not children.
Teenagers are kids.
I believe you're a kid until you're 91.
You sound like Michael Jackson.
No, that would be the opposite.
Well, concerning Roch's charm, in the beginning, his stop-smoking clinics were effective, popular, and lucrative, earning him up to $3,000 a week. In these clinics, Roch would explain the virtues of vegetarian living, mantras, and cold showers, all used to stave off nick fits. And Roch would make it sound like his way was the only way in the entire universe that would stop smoking guaranteed.
And Marcus actually found out the real secret was the classic move handed down from generation to generation, and it's called getting dogs in a bathtub. That's the only proper way.
With getting dogs in a bathtub?
Yeah. No, I did stop smoking after I finally got both dogs in the bathtub.
When you put your balls in your butthole, that's when you decided to stop smoking.
It was a slippery Saturday, but we got it.
Oh, God.
Now, reportedly, 85% of the people who attended these clinics did stop smoking, at least for a bit. If they didn't, though, then it was their fault, not Roch's, and they therefore have a reason to come back. Now, not surprisingly, these stop-smoking clinics became a place where Roch could recruit more followers. Among the more tragic of those were Jacques Jaguar and his wife, Maurice Grenier. Maurice, in particular, would suffer indignities and tragedies, small and large, throughout the many years she spent with the cult. And it was all the more tragic because Maurice never actually wanted to join and had only gone along because her husband insisted.
She definitely was the Dante of Clerks of this entire scenario.
Right.
She's just like, I'm not even supposed to be here.
It's kind of a rounding error on her part, but it seems like a big one.
Yeah. Yep. As far as her husband Jock went, Roch Thériault would eventually turn this docile and sensitive man into a butcher, capable of damn near anything.
And once you get a guy to do fucking unspeakable, to be honest, because he's not an attendant to a surgeon, he's a sous chef to a man who thinks he's a surgeon. When you get a guy to do that kind of shit, it's very difficult to roll him back into normal society.
Well, absolutely. And dare I say, as someone who goes to Chase Bank on a regular basis, I don't want him to be my banker. Once you start butchering people, that's what you do now.
But at this point in the cult's timeline, it still seemed to be about spiritual growth, seemed to be about clean living. And in the background, there was the inevitable end of the world.
Yeah.
And as it was for all of them, Jacques Jaguar was looking for answers, and Roch seemed to have them. However, some of the families of Roch's followers were starting to see through the charade, as both Chantal Labrise and Solange Boilard's parents tried getting their kids to leave before things got too bad. They saw this was a bad road.
Oh, yeah.
Real question. Your kids are abducted into a cult, but you never really liked them. They were going through their own little phases. How many Christmases before you miss them? 4. 4 Christmases, and then they're like, we got to get these kids back.
A college worth of Christmases,
Yes.
because then you can get used to having Christmas on your own and then be like, actually, it'd be kind of fun to have our ungrateful child
The
here
whole
again.
family, yeah. Can we just get the whole family back? Yeah.
Yeah, because then you realize that you need that child to take care of you when you're older, and you have to reconnect.
That's the whole point. And then sometimes that child is also supposed to be working on the house. And you get to the point where your legs and your arms are too feeble to do things around the house. And then you get a call being like, oh, Henry Thomas, but I tried to go up the other day to clean the gutters by myself. But, oh, my hands, they just ached from the surgery I had. Oh, Henry Thomas.
Are you telling me that love isn't real? It's just a series of people who can't do something and desperately need you to help? Mm-hmm. And they call you?
Obligations.
Obligations are love. Okay.
Chantal's parents even went as far as to put her under a 4-week mental health evaluation, but Chantal was declared mentally and physically healthy and was released back into Roch Thériault's supervision. Now, Roch realized around this time that his girlfriend's apartment was no place to set up shop if he was going to keep his unit together, and it was especially no place if he wanted to keep a tight grip on his followers.
Grip.
Jeez. This guy's
Well,
such...
you keep saying the word grip.
He's just such a-
and Roch Thériault, of all of the cult leaders, he definitely had a very tight grip.
Well, it's just amazing because he's having all of these people at his girlfriend's apartment, so he has to be like, my girlfriend doesn't want anyone over tonight. Like, it's like so annoying.
But
like,
he never said that.
But he never said that.
No, not once. He just kind of, he felt the annoyance of maybe even thinking he would have to say that, and he did not like even that feeling.
But then if you're the girlfriend, you're like, yeah, I pay rent and everything. And then they're like, oh, so how's the relationship with Roch? You're like, oh, he started a cult in the house.
And that's what you do. And then you're just like, it's hard to find a man.
It is.
Well, Roch learned very early on that control meant isolation, especially from his followers' families. So Roch moved all of them to a place where none of them had any kind of familial connections. Even though the town of Sainte Marie wasn't too far away, and even though it still had a population of about 9,000, it was still the first step Roch Thériault took towards completely cutting off his followers from society. In Sainte Marie, Roch and his followers opened the unimaginatively titled Healthy Living Clinic under the umbrella of the Seventh-day Adventist Church, and Roch slowly started turning the entire operation into an overt cult.
He created Healthy Living Clinic the way the producers of The Real World forced those peoples to go to work for plot lines.
That was episode 3, because I think episode 2, everyone was just getting too lazy. Episode 1, it was madness.
Yeah, they just understood and be like, oh, we just made him work at a t-shirt shop. The same thing like in Jersey Shore. There is no reason for him. He created this. It's all scenarios. He's all running games to, because then he
I think
immediately.
producer is the right equivalent, though, as far as profession goes for him.
Oh, Roch Thériault is very much so an executive producer of this cult.
Now, from what early member Claude Ouellette said, The group had some great times in the beginning. Roch made them feel like they stood out from the rest of society because they were the chosen people named in the Bible.
Oh.
And this establishment of otherness is key to any cult. But the thing about this sort of mind control is that it is essential that the leader convinces the cult member that they are only special if they are in the cult. But at the same time, they are not special within the cult because the cult is only special because of the leader.
Like the E Street Band.
Now, I don't know if that's true.
Are you maligning Clarence Clemens and fucking Stevie right now?
R.I.P. Mr. Clarence. I just listened to Bruce all day yesterday.
R.I.P.
Jesus Christ. By the way, The River, that is the saddest song.
I'm sorry I did this. I shouldn't even said this.
We're not doing
immediately
sidebar.
regret it.
No sidebar.
But he had a quote that he said often, that he said, the people, when they go to the river to get water from the river, down the river, it's all filled with mud. It's all filled with fish poop. And they didn't say the fish poop. But he's like, it's all filled with mud. But that's why people, when you go to the source, you go to the head of the river, you will see the water is clear. I am the source.
Are you a teenage
the source.
mut-
I thought you were saying the sewers.
The sewers. Oh, the source. Yeah, I was like, are you a teenage mutant ninja turtle? What's going on?
No, I live at the source. Alligators, they live in the source.
Okay, you live in the source. I see. Interesting. All right.
So to both separate them from society and to remove the individual identities of each member within the cult, Roch Thériault began making all of his followers dress in drab uniforms.
Step 2.
Why not? At the very least, and again, you know me, I don't like these cults, but at the very least, some of them make their constituents dress well.
Heaven's Gate technically had cool jumpsuits, and man, the uniforms of Scientology don't even fucking talk about how
They
elegant
aren't-
LRH looked as the Admiral.
I don't know about elegant.
Elegant. He looked like the biggest minion who's ever had a company.
No, these were not stylish in any way whatsoever. Giselle used Maurice's sewing machine to construct loose, ankle-length tunics tied at the waist with a rope, pale green for the women and beige for the men, making them all look like monks. The only one that had a different outfit was Roch, who was still wearing the tunic, but his was dark brown.
Wow.
Like shit.
Yeah, interesting.
Also, again, the same thing when we were bringing up Nexium, but Nexium had those shitty little fucking scarves.
Oh my God. Don't even, I'm so mad about Nexium. You know what I'm going to say? I'm over it. I'm over it. No, they
Over
should
it.
all justice will be done. That's all I say.
Roch also told the women that bras were an unnecessary tool of the establishment.
You got to be right sometimes.
I mean, honestly, he did kind of hit. That is sort of a leftist feminist thought. So maybe he did hit on that.
And Francine Laflamme's glasses were ripped off her face and broken because Roch said that glasses were a technological crutch and her vision could be cured with a holistic diet of his own making.
I hate this guy so freaking much already.
But as goofy as a house full of people in homemade tunics full of bean curd casserole teaching people how to quit smoking seemed,
With one woman just running into the same wall over and over and over again because she can't see anymore.
I also feel like the smoking would actually cover up the smell of that clinic.
This is the first time smoking would have been a better fragrance.
but even though I still love the smell of cigarettes.
I know that's because you're violently addicted to them.
I also still like
do
it.
not get that.
Well, even though it seemed goofy, people were still buying the act. One new member, Leo Mark Foucher, fell for it so hard that he quit his job, sold his house, and made his wife join the group with him, all because he believed in Roch. Soon, everyone was dropping out of society. Jacques Jaguar and Maurice Grenier sold everything they owned as well, and Francine Laflamme, Maurice Lambert, and Josie Pelletier joined the others in quitting school to dedicate themselves completely to Roch and his message.
You know, I guess when the Roch is making bean curd casserole, everyone could smell what the Roch is cooking.
I'm just happy you did it. I'm just happy that you did it.
I didn't write these jokes down. This is all solid improv. I didn't think about this before. Yeah,
Wow.
that's how good I am.
Wow, I thought for sure that was premeditated.
Now, the Seventh-day Adventist Church was starting to look at Roch Thériault's new venture with great suspicion. And Pastor Zita was starting to notice that Roch's followers were much more devoted to Roch than the teachings of the SDA.
Uh-oh, we have ourselves we have a fight for attention.
We do, but have you seen the picture of Pastor Zita in the Book of Savage Messiah, essentially doing the shrug of like emoticon? He's like doing like, I don't know what happened there. He just has this look of like, sheesh. Just sitting on the stoop of something.
A car accident taking place behind him, people trying to climb out with full of blood, children are screaming.
At least they're not smoking.
What?
Plus, Giselle Tremblay, Roch's girlfriend, who had given over her apartment as the original hangout, was starting to feel uncomfortable with how all of the women were fawning over Roch and throwing themselves at the guru night after night. Lot of massages.
Interesting how she was totally right to be upset.
Yep.
So, after Giselle brought up the possibility of marriage, Roch agreed to marry her in Montreal, partly as a PR move to satisfy the church and concerned parents, and partly to keep Giselle in the group. But this marriage seemed to be the first instance of Roch Thériault acting in a specifically cruel manner towards one of his followers. On the ride back to Ste. Marie from Montreal after the wedding, Roch sat in the cab of the truck with Nicole and Solange. Giselle, however, spent the entire 5-hour ride on a mattress in the truck bed in January in Canada, all while Roch and his two most dedicated followers laughed and joked in the heated cab throughout the entire trip.
It begins the sadist trip. Right, Roch Thériault, researching into this idea of malignant narcissism or vengeful narcissism, is sometimes called. This concept of he now is obviously takes explicit pleasure in making someone else feel bad, and also puts him on top. And you're going to see it's a constant game of it's a win or lose situation with a malignant narcissism. There's no like everything you are either a winner or you're a loser.
Right.
Every situation, every scenario has a winner or a loser, and your job as a malignant narcissism with a sadistic streak, your job is to always be the winner. And so he wants to show you, okay, I gave you this little thing that you want, this like little marriage thing. Yes, I gave you this little thing. Now you're going to sleep in the back of this car like a dog because that's weird. That's how I view you.
Yeah.
Crazy. Meanwhile, everyone driving past him were just like, what a bunch of losers.
Well, no, it was him laughing up there with a bunch of braless, tunic-wearing, hollowed-eyed cold girls, and they're like, that guy, he's got it made.
I don't know.
As it turned out, though, the marriage fooled no one. Pastor Zita was still actively trying to pull followers away towards the traditional SDA church, and parents were starting to get the law involved. But since Roch was breaking no laws, nothing could be done. Then came the first death. In mid-1978, a leukemia patient named Geraldine Auclair was brought to Roch's health clinic by her husband, and Roch's advice was to stop medical treatments immediately and replace them with grape juice and quote-unquote natural products that Roch, of course, sold. Predictably, within weeks, Geraldine Auclair was dead. Roch did claim that he'd kissed her after she'd expired, and she'd briefly come to life. But that was the most he could do, because God had decided that it was her time to go.
And that's why it was important for me to kill her again.
Yeah, really.
It is very important. She awakened and she said, oh God, and I looked at her and I was like, oh no, this is going to be a lot of explanation.
I don't even know what accent that is, but I like it. So he went the Prune Brothers route, huh? He's just like, go with grapefruit, go with prunes. And for some reason, they always say grapefruit and prune juice is gonna cure you. Well, I think it's just because it makes you poop and pee a bunch.
Well, no, the Prune Brothers, their prescription was based on a horny old lady who couldn't shit.
I remember.
Yeah.
Totally different situation. You can't even compare the two.
I'm sorry.
Well, about a month later, Pastor Zita, who was also noticing that the money coming into Roch's clinic never seemed to make it to the church, even though the church was providing him with all the product, Zita teamed up with a bunch of other SDA pastors and voted Roch out of the religion.
And that should handle it.
This is the only time where I will say I am happy that the church got undercut by, not to say undercut again because I've been saying it a lot, but I'm happy that they got scammed in their own game.
Oh, of course.
Where they're just like, that's our goddamn money scam to convince people that we are speaking with God and they give us the money.
Yeah,
you're going to take the money from us.
Because guess what? It wasn't about the cancer girl dying.
No,
it was
wasn't.
about the money not coming into the church.
Yeah, that's how it always goes. It's not, fucking Sony didn't take Cyberpunk 2077 off of the fucking Sony store because it was a shitty unfinished game. They took it off because CD Projekt Red fucked with Sony's money.
Wow. Ooh, okay. Oh,
I'm just going to let that sit.
I feel
that's too hot to touch.
I feel it over there.
I already have third-degree burns on my hand from a cooking accident. I don't want to touch anymore.
Yeah, you actually can't even grab the net.
No way.
Now, the Seventh-day Adventist Church thought that if they kicked Roch to the curb, his grip on his followers would lessen. But since they knew nothing about how cults worked, this ended up having the opposite effect. Instead of leaving, some of the members were bound to the group even closer through marriages to each other.
Step 3.
Roch paired Jacques Facette to Nicole Ruel and Claude Ouellette to Solange Boillard, even though none of them had any inkling of romantic interest in one another. But since Roch wanted it, they figured there must be a reason. So all of them did it without complaint.
I feel like the Seventh-day Adventist Church couldn't recognize that this was a cult because it's a cult.
Yes. Yeah.
And so they were just like, everything seems normal on the outside. But they are messing with our money.
If you want to ruin a cult, make it seem cool to the establishment. They should have had Pastor Zeta should have shown up on a skateboard and a backwards hat just being like, y'all are actually the coolest guys in the playground out here tonight. And that's why you're in charge now, Roch. Like, make him in charge of the church. And they're all be like, oh, this is so fucking normie. I don't want to be a part of this. I remember when it was fucking indie, dude. Now it's fucking corporate.
Exactly. It's about fundraising.
See, from what Pastor Zeta said, there was no way to argue with Roch Thériault, even if you weren't one of his followers. He'd just sit there and stare with one eye closed and the other eye focused directly on you. And somehow he always found a way to win an argument.
Do you feel like that there was almost a symbolic nod towards Odin? Or is that just just edibles?
I think that's edibles. Okay. I think he did the one eye thing, I think, is a way to just sort of throw people off.
Cool.
Because you're thinking the entire time you're not thinking about your argument, you're thinking of, why is he staring at me? Why does he have one eye closed? Why is he doing that? So he's able to throw you off your fucking game.
Like if you look at me like this and you're trying to try to do the next section of the show and tell me if does this affect you?
Now, yeah, it affects me. I don't like it. I keep thinking, why are you... Now, Derek...
Because it's an audio medium, you jackass, Henry. Henry is looking at Marcus with a sneer that is very, I'm going to say, Polish detective with a hunch.
I shaved my butthole today.
Oh, God.
Good for you. That should make getting those dogs in that bathtub a lot easier.
Henry, Marcus, before the show, literally said, can we have just less sidebars? We got a big script here today. And Marcus.
I'm sorry.
Jesus.
You're right. Now, during the double wedding, Roch officiated, stressing how the woman had to be submissive to the man, always. Now, even though they didn't agree with the whole fucking thing, Solange's parents attended as a way to keep their daughter close, but ended up sobbing through the ceremony and the reception, where the cult served a vegetarian meal that Solange's parents said looked and tasted like mud. What's interesting, though, is that at this point, sex had not been added to the cult's equation, not even with Giselle. She said that Roch only had sex with her to shut her up, and oddly equated his lovemaking style with how one would make love to a fridge.
Sounds like a fucking pandemic LG fucking commercial. You know what? It's weird is that this is also a thing I uncovered with the sadist. The sadist will specifically not have sex with someone who wants to have sex with him or her. They actually they would rather not get laid and actually get sexual gratification more from turning a person down than from actually busting a nut.
Oh, yeah, I must be a sadist then. I'm just like, get away, go. Oh, my God.
Instead, Roch would stay up all night talking with the other women as they hung on his every word and constantly told him how wonderful he was. And as a result, Giselle reached her limit by the spring of 1978, even though she was pregnant with her first child with Roch. She threatened to leave, but in response, Roch committed his first act of overt violence towards a follower. He punched his pregnant wife in the face, leaving her mouth bloody and swollen, and didn't allow her to leave her room for 2 days.
You know what is, and it really came as a surprise, and it was a very sudden escalation. And he had obviously been thinking about and waiting to when he was going to start laying the violence down. I think he had a plan almost, because he literally went as bubbly, maybe distant cult leader of this group, but everyone thought of him as just like a pure man. Like up until this point, he was quote unquote good. He just did all the isolation shit and working people and making them tired and fucking with their diet. But this was, I was like, he didn't even hesitate. She said she was going to leave and he just popped her in the mouth, which just shows that he was already, this was already in his toolkit.
Yeah. Now, at this point, the cult was at a crossroads. The SDA Church was no longer supplying them with natural food products or literature to sell. Local merchants were sending debt collectors, and the death of Geraldine Auclair, while under Roch's care, certainly didn't help matters either. So, with a following of 12 women, 6 men, and 2 children, Roch decided that it was time to crank up the paranoia and skip town, just like Jim Jones had done when things were going wrong for him in Indianapolis, right before they went to California. Roch told his followers that the Armageddon foretold in the Book of Revelation was finally coming. The day of his proclamation was July 6th, and Roch said that the day of reckoning would arrive on February 17th of the following year.
Too short of a lead time.
Isn't that crazy?
But Roch told his followers that there was some good to go along with the bad. Yeah, it was terrible that the world was ending.
What?
But there was good news.
What is that?
The good news was that Roch was God's personal emissary, appointed by the man himself.
What?
Yeah.
What?
And
right here in Canada? We found him?
What? He's covered in asbestos?
And since all of his followers were already bound to Roch, they would be saved as well.
Oh,
Nice.
Boom. Flip it. No big deal.
Boom, I love it. I love being a chosen one, Lord. Yes.
This is great.
All they had to do was escape the evils of society and return to nature. And when Armageddon came, Roch and his 20 followers would form the core of a new society that would usher in Jesus' 1,000-year reign.
Yes! I am not. I'm fucking sick of that song. Could we play a different song? Could you maybe come down to like some Dio?
No, this is like Jesus' favorite
This is
song.
his favorite song. God,
yeah.
I'm just so sick of it.
And when he came back, he's fucking pissed as hell. Can you see? I have a machine gun now.
No, machine gun Jesus. And I don't want to victim blame, but true question. When it comes to the ego of cult members, like the idea that these people believe that they have met the best friend of Jesus, they also have to have an ego on them, don't they?
Well,
to think that, hey, yeah, of course I did. Why wouldn't I? I'm so charming.
I don't think it's ego. It's something. It's actually, I think it's the complete other side of it. It's the opposite of that. They are so they have such little belief in themselves that they are willing to believe anybody, and they have such little self-worth that they need so badly to feel special. And because this man is saying, I am God's emissary, and they are attached to that man, then that makes them special, and that fills a hole, a gigantic, huge gaping hole in these people.
So you don't think that they're going to go out to the at the bar and just be like, I know the best friend of Jesus, you fucking punks.
Yeah,
you know, I mean,
they might. Well, they talk. They say that people do get kind of an ego boost from dating a narcissist, because the narcissist builds up this myth. If he is now, the limit on his ego now is I am God's best friend. Right? So that's his that's his ego size. So he has enough ego for everybody else to feed off of it and supplant their own missing sense of self-worth with literally the light of God's first cousin. I get to see he is inside of me now. I am a part of that. And so I actually get a boost because the narcissist is chosen to be with me. And so you start to forgive all of the abuses that come with choosing to be like you have become your
best
number
friends
two.
Of the best friend of Jesus.
Yes, and yet you're number two to yourself.
Now, in making this proclamation that society was evil, Roch created an environment of passive danger for the cult, which is a tactic still used to this day by religious figures and politicians as a way to gain loyalty through fear. They convince their followers that the entire world is full of satanic child molesters out to drink your blood, and anyone who says that the world isn't full of satanic child molesters is most likely also a satanic child molester.
Again, even a broken clock is right twice a day.
Honestly, when it comes down to it, just fucking walk through the fox lot and see what's going on over there.
We should start when things do open up. I'm going to walk through the Paramount lot and just start yelling pedophile and see who looks shook.
Yeah, go.
Pedophile.
See who runs.
See who runs.
See, by this point, Roch had already convinced his followers that his way was the only way, just like he convinced hundreds of smokers of the same thing. And since they'd already dropped out of society in every way that mattered, moving out to the woods to escape Armageddon seemed like the only logical thing to do. In their mind, this was logical.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I guess in an illogical world, this makes sense, I suppose.
In an insane world, only the sane stay sane, and the insane are the ones who are sane.
Now you're going to make me quote Chris Farley from Dirty Work about the half nose, and we've got to get back to this.
So, 3 days after the proclamation was made, the group set out on foot from a town called St. Jogues. And after 2 days of traveling and 13 miles of walking, they found an isolated area that was 4 hours of walking time from even the nearest road. Roch dubbed their new home Eternal Mountain, and the group quickly set about building a compound from scratch. Starting at 5 a.m. every day, the followers spent the summer cutting down trees, hauling rocks, and digging wells, while Roch directed from the sidelines, complaining about stomach pains and, oh no, I've got cancer.
I've got cancer.
Maybe he ate too much Pizza Hut.
But he did debilitate you for an entire episode.
Yeah.
But this is where the executive producer title really comes in.
Yes, where he doesn't do anything?
Nope.
Yeah.
The only other person who didn't work was Gabrielle Nadeau. She was a new convert with multiple sclerosis who had decided that the cult was the best thing for her MS, and she spent her days and nights lying alone in a tent.
Cool.
Since they were in the wilderness, everyone starved, and if anyone disobeyed Roch, he'd reduce what little portions they had at dinner every night. Roch also kept everyone up all night long giving speeches, and the sleep deprivation, combined with the food rationing, made everyone highly suggestible.
Right.
Well, following that was the inevitable changing of the names. Everyone was given new names from the Old Testament, which served both to kill their old identities and to give their new lives a biblical feel.
Meanwhile, I was doing the steps. This is like steps 4, 5, and 6. It's crazy how it's just all like in a cult manual.
Right. Right.
Giselle became Esther, Solange became Rachel, Gabrielle became Thirsta, Chantel became Ruth, Claude became Boaz, Jacques became Nathan, and so on and so forth.
Man, Nathan is such a downstep from Jacques.
Yeah, hold on a second. You can't do a cult name that's also a name. It's like, they need to be like chloroquine. It needs to be like crazy names. You don't just go from a Nancy to a Barbara.
No,
that doesn't make any sense.
He's not trying to walk him out all the way to the land of J.R.R. Tolkien yet. He wants to start with he's in the Bible world. Right now, he's got to get him used to these kind of new first-level names, because then he's got to get used to jerking off in front of everybody. You know what I mean? It's a build.
It's a build. They were supposed to be like TQ5.
No, it's a build. It's a build.
All right, I see.
But with these names, Roch was exerting even more subtle control on some of his followers. For example, Roch would routinely tell follower Francine Laflamme that she was grossly overweight, even though she, just like everyone else in the cult, was terribly malnourished and very much looked like it. But to drive home his false claim, Roch gave Francine the Old Testament name of Hogla.
That's cute.
Well, you know,
it's kind of cute.
No,
Hogla's a good name for a pug, not for a
oh, it's a great name for a pug.
I know. I am separate. I'm just saying I never heard the name Hogla before.
No, Hogla it's like the name of a girl best friend in a 1997 high school comedy.
Well done. Oh, man. That was Brittany Murphy.
Well, as far as his own name went, Roch chose a suitably overblown moniker. Because he was leading his tribe into the wilderness at God's instruction, Roch gave himself the name Moses. And that was what his followers, and later even the press, formally called him from then on. Informally, Roch made his followers call him Pappy, while Giselle, Roch's wife, and therefore everyone's new mother, was called Mammy.
Oh, Pappy and Mammy doing all sorts of bad things in the fucking cabin.
Well, honestly, it sounds like something you have to do once a year. You got to go to the doctor, get your Pappy, get your Mammy. Make sure you're safe out there. Cancer's a very real thing.
I honestly think it's nice to call them cute little names because then you won't
Exactly.
worry about getting your breast smushed or your balls squished.
Yeah, absolutely. It pisses me off, and maybe media hasn't gotten any better at this, but it just pisses me off. The media's like, yeah, Moses sounds good. No, it's Roch Thériault.
I think Roch is a better name than Moses, but they got really into this is the beginning too when they were just cute. Because at first they thought they were cute.
But it's already not cute at this point.
No,
but they didn't know. I guess.
No, they did not. No. But when we were talking about it in the production call, like it's interesting to see that Roch Thériault, we were asking the question, how did he know how to do the exact steps of creating a cult that now are sort of stereotypical? Like he did them all instinctually. He isolated them, told them their parents were bad. He malnourished them. He worked them to the point of hysteria. He kept them at high excitable rates where he would go and he put wigs on and do fucking bits where he would like hold up a fucking carrot to his mouth and pretend to do karaoke and shit, where he was doing like fucking Adam Sandler bits where he's like, I'm the rake man. I'm the rake man. Which is
pretty
hard.
nice night here at the cult. Actually, he's doing his Adam Sandler bit.
I'm the rake man. I'm the rake man.
It's pretty bad.
But
I'm starving, but it's pretty good.
It's just, he did all of these, so you had all of this shit going on, and then he gave them the names, he lessened their identity. How the fuck does he know to fucking follow the cult leader manual?
How do you do it without Google? Is that the question?
Yep.
Well, I think it really is instinct. Like humans don't get enough credit, or at least we don't really think a lot about social instinct, that humans are social creatures. That's how we evolved to survive. We evolved to survive in villages as social beings. And so with someone like Roch Thériault, with a narcissist, they have that same instinct, but they have a couple of switches in their brain flipped that the rest of us don't have. This is how he knows to work in society. This is what he knows how to do. This is how he knows how to get the things that he wants. And he's just following some sort of fucking evil instinct that gives him exactly what he wants.
When someone who
much
is
like the Blues Brothers. Much like
the Blues Brothers. But because if he is, again, I'm just diagnosing him, but it seems it fits a lot of ways. But the idea of this form of narcissism, if you have it, or malignant narcissism, whatever other cult leaders have, whatever, because he got something. He has lack of impulse control. He has a sexual love of pain, which is also bad. That's real bad. And then he also, because of his whatever he's got going on in his head, he's actually an ultra empath. So he can actually tell a lot about people by the way they speak and hold themselves instinctually, but instead, like an empath using it to whatever, understand people or sell crystals, you are going to use it to fuck with people.
And of course, if you are into that kind of stuff, kink.com, very safe, very consensual, very fun.
Absolutely.
We know that.
No, the BDSM community is filled with love. The whole point of being...
Yeah, BDSM.
Yeah, the BDSM
Yeah,
community.
Yeah.
The sadists in that world, the whole point, the reason why they're giving pain is because it gives pleasure to the sub, and they're doing it out of love. They're not doing it out of the love of necessarily just of the giving of pain. They're giving it because it's supposed to make someone come.
And that's why I'm here as a representative for Jersey Mikes. We love subs.
Oh my
what
god!
kind of
I want
meeting is this?
I want to see a guy in a fucking dog suit, fucking eating a Jersey Mike sandwich. That'd be
I
incredible.
thought this was about sandwiches, guys.
Now, when shit got really weird with the new names, Roch did lose a couple of followers, including the guy who had sold his house and quit his job to join the clinic. But in this, Roch saw a new opportunity. Instead of forcing them to stay, or even trying to convince them to stay, he told his followers that the devil had gotten to them, and everyone solemnly nodded in agreement with the knowledge that they had something new to fear. Even here, the devil would still get to us.
You can just see their brain clink, clunk, 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 clunk. Yeah, that checks out.
That's good.
That checks out, yeah.
Now, with everyone working so goddamn hard, sleeping so little, and eating even less, Roch began the process of isolating his followers mentally and emotionally, in addition to the physical distance he'd introduced. He gave endless lectures about the decadence of modern civilization and told his followers that the only way to purify themselves was to recognize that society was corrupt and evil while the commune was just and good. But he had his followers talk as well, using the age-old cult technique of confession. He coaxed the deepest secrets from each member, using any sort of childhood trauma as evidence that their families were agents of Satan. Pretty soon, Roch wasn't allowing his followers to speak of even a single happy memory from their former lives. And night after night, Roch drilled the idea that anything that came before Eternal Mountain was dangerous, miserable, and most of all, satanic.
Ah, fuck yeah, dude.
Yes,
I didn't know my fucking job at the video store was fucking satanic, dude. Fuck yeah.
Super fun. Jimmy John's delivery driver for the devil.
The devil.
Super fun. Got this REM tape stuck in my freaking goddamn cassette player.
Fuck yeah, dude. You are losing your religion, dude.
Yeah, man. For the devil. Woo.
But while Roch preached about the evils of societal decadence, he used the Bible to justify his own.
Oh, wow.
See, by October, Giselle had noticed that most of the women were desperately lonely up there on Eternal Mountain, so she went to Roch to tell him so. His response to this legitimate concern was to take inspiration from the Old Testament, citing the concubines of King David and King Solomon. And Roch declared that he would take on the solemn task of sleeping with all the single women, framing it all as Giselle's idea.
Someone has got to do it, my friend. It is a dirty job, but I guess if the prescription is cock, well, I guess I am a doctor.
I don't think that you are. And that is not the prescription. The prescription was simple human interaction and a mild amount of affection and love.
You mean a cock?
No, not a cock. Not everything is about a cock.
It rhymes with rock.
I hate cult leaders. All they do is talk about their cocks.
But when Giselle got upset that Roch had twisted her words so badly, he threw her to the ground and choked her, declaring that he was Moses, he was her master, and if she didn't do as she was told, the Lord would crush her skull. But just as Roch was really getting his cult up and running, the massacre in Jonestown occurred and threatened to spoil the good times of cults all across North America.
Oh my God! This is like when Jackie got booked in that Crock-Pot commercial and that stupid show. The whole
destroyed the whole campaign because the
what was it? This Is Us or something.
Yeah,
the whole thing
us.
was predicated on a house fire started by a Crock-Pot. The entire campaign was canceled. What I'm saying is sometimes things from the outside can affect your inside.
Yep.
Well, for Roch's part, he was fascinated and claimed that he'd had a dream the year before that specifically this would happen.
Of course he did.
But since the Jonestown tragedy was so vast and the body count was so high, people the world over, including Canadians, started paying a hell of a lot more attention to the cults that seemed to be springing up everywhere.
Canada spent a lot of energy and time and money on investigating cults. They actually really tried. There were several big agencies that they kind of created on the fly, especially because it was like Jonestown happened and then Order of the Solar Temple happened.
Right.
But they did not stop the Anthill Kids from happening.
Interesting.
No.
You can just see the detectives just driving down the street and be like, oh, there's Robert Picton, but there's a group of 10 people gathering 3 blocks away. We better make sure it's not a cult.
We got to grab them
There's Robert Picton back there, though.
Because Picton's got some... Have you been to that hog farm?
Oh,
That
it's
place is
disgusting.
but
No
it's
place for a
rocking.
cult. Yeah, it's rocking, though. Yeah, it is rocking.
Well, as a result of the Jonestown massacre, by December, the family members that Roch's followers had left behind were making a lot of noise, and both the media and the police became highly interested in what was going on at Eternal Mountain. Many of Roch's followers were given extensive psychiatric tests, but all of them were found to be agreeable, coherent, and living at Eternal Mountain under their own free will. As far as Roch went, the psychiatrist who examined him said that while Roch did show a tendency for schizophrenic hallucination, he was also normal and agreeable. And besides, he was just so goddamn charming.
Wait, did you just say a tendency for?
Yeah.
Because that's like, most people don't have tendency to just be like crazy.
They just considered him to be this loopy, humble Jesus guy, because he put on this shucks like personality where he'd go in and be like, "Well, I am just a man in the woods."
You have done 8 accents about the same character.
French. I'm just a man of the woods. I do not know the difference between a bean and a gun. I do not know the difference between a lake and a toilet. Let us just be our lives. Let us just teach our kids and make our fucks.
Well, a bean and a gun will both make you crap your pants.
Yeah. And so, with a stamp of approval from the authorities, Roch escalated once again. He announced that all previous marriages were annulled, and from then on, all the women, with the exception of one, would be married to Roch. The only one not included in this mass union was Maurice Grenier, who was still none too happy that her husband had dragged her and their child to the top of a goddamn mountain. See, Maurice is one of the hardest people to understand in this cult, because while she obviously despised Roch Thériault, she was still under his control. But this actually made her perfect for Roch's purposes, because to a narcissist like Roch, an enemy at hand is always useful.
You have somebody you can always use as an example of what not to do.
Yeah.
And so you keep them specifically in the cult. You don't kick them out, even though that would actually be the logical thing. Wouldn't you want to fire somebody from the cult? You know what I mean? Like, you're a weak link. Get the hell out of here. I didn't see you drag any beans, any fucking rice,
drag more
fucking
beans.
bags. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But he uses her as being like, and this is someone who does something bad. I think the reason why she ended up staying in the cult is because, as we'll see, Roch Thériault used the children as a control mechanism.
Yeah, he always used children as a choke point.
So disgusting.
And so, while everyone else was outside working all day, Roch would bring the women into the cabin for sex. Or he'd do it late at night after everyone else was allowed to go to sleep, often with more than one woman at a time. Some, like Nicole and Chantal, giggled and fawned over Roch, but others, like Solange, looked up to Roch as one does in regards to a stern father, with a mixture of fear and admiration. But no matter how they looked at him, it was always in the context of obedience. And don't worry, Roch got plenty fucking gross with each one. If all you people wonder, when's it gonna get gross? It's fucking about to get gross right now.
Why are you yelling at me? When's it gonna get gross then? I think the whole thing is gross because of the way Roch Thériault looks. He looks like if a sponge fucked a piece of coral. He is disgusting.
Well, when
Wait,
Gabrielle,
I guess sponges are coral.
Yeah.
No shit.
Wow. You just discovered that on your own.
Light bulb.
You don't even need a teacher.
When Gabrielle slept with Roch for the first time, he put her hand on his massive penis and asked her if the size suited his status as a prophet before pushing her head down to his bushy groin.
Okay, down periscope.
I don't like it. I don't want to play submarine today.
He also made a decree that he would sleep with none of them unless the objective was to get them pregnant. And before long, multiple women in the camp were pregnant and working just as hard as ever.
This is great. You got no money. You got no time on your hands. You have no infrastructure. It's time to bring some kids into the mix.
But he was actually trying to avoid originally bringing kids in the mix. That's why it was BJ's only. But then he decided he needed to nut the other way in the barn door. And so he made as many children as he possibly could. And then he started talking about Joseph Smith. And he talked about building the church like the way normal people build the church. But I also don't like, it's the sentence that he says that it's always like, I hear this often when you read about things like the LDS or all these types of organizations where someone says, he's like, it is nothing but love. Anything with love is the children. They come.
It's like, so gross. Also, to be fair, he didn't really make the kids. Most of that happens there in the womb.
Yeah, he's
he
not
just
carving them out of wood.
And then it's just like, okay.
Well, Roch also figured out very early on that a good way to get people under your control is to make them fight amongst each other for attention. So he began pitting every woman against each other by subtly talking shit.
Real world versus road rules. This man, does he work for MTV?
Well, eventually, the women began trying to one-up each other by writing Roch hand-delivered love letters that both exalted him as a leader and denigrated themselves as subservient followers. Here's an example from Gabrielle, who had been given the appropriate biblical name of Thirsta.
Adored Pappy and well-loved master, my heart is sliding next to your immense father's heart. You have brought a lot of peace to me. I am happy about the lovely family that you have formed and have allowed me to join. I thank you equally for the promise of better days. I feel very good at being at your side, to be one of your children, and to live simply but fully. It feels wonderful to realize we are all of one body that is not condemned to die. And before finishing, I would like to tell you again what I told you when I had the impression of losing my breath the other night. I am slime. I am less than nothing, and I beg your pardon for all of the errors of my flesh. I love you, Pappy, and I will love you eternally. Thirsta. P.S. Please excuse my handwriting.
She goes on to say, I would swallow my pride. I would choke on the rinds. But the lack thereof would leave me empty inside.
Oh, this is very good.
Yeah, this is really... Swallow my doubt.
Turn it inside out.
By nothing but faith in nothing. Want to put my tender heart in the blender. Watch it spin around like a beautiful oblivion.
Wow.
Well, anyway, she was really talented.
Rendezvous, and I'm through with you.
Yes, indeed. That was my contribution.
Now, once the sex began flowing freely, Roch Thériault gave in to debauchery completely, mostly because he no longer had to toe the line of Seventh-day Adventist bullshit to keep a hold on his followers. He abandoned vegetarianism, consumed Pepsi and potato chips voraciously, and after 2 years as a sober man, drank beer and cognac for hours at a time, which invariably led to the extreme violence for which Roch Thériault is known.
When did all the holistic stuff get thrown out the window?
As soon as they started nutting in multiple people like a giant, big, hairy octopus.
Gee, all right, so that was just, that's all gone now.
Oh,
Well,
he's
just
like,
that was a part of his control.
That's
Like,
just
that
control.
was only there for control, and now he's got them isolated. He's got all new controls that he's figuring out.
But now he's
Okay.
eating like Kumail Nanjiani on a cheat day. If you follow his Instagram, but
He's very buff.
He's very buff.
Love Kumail.
But Roch Thériault, it's weird because then the switch is also purposeful. He is now showing you just how flagrantly he can break his own rules that he set up because he is God's fucking golfing caddy. He shows you up. He shows, and he's like the idea of going from bean curd casserole to actively drinking soda and smashing chips in your mouth
Right.
is it's a psychological move. Well, they can all see being like, holy shit, he changed our laws. He changes our laws. He is above us.
He went from Dean Warmer to Bluto.
Yep.
Yeah, from Animal
But
House.
if Bluto became Dean.
Yes.
This podcast is brought to you by Squarespace. Squarespace is an all-in-one website platform that helps you stand out online. Yes, that's right. You don't have to smash your face with a hammer. You can just start a business. It's got everything you need on Squarespace, from securing your domain to building a professional site and showcasing your work all in one place. Let's say you want to show everybody how you can carve your ribs out of your lower abdomen so that you look more like a Ken doll. That's amazing. You can bring your vision to life with AI-powered design or curated templates, plus flexible editing tools that helps you create something that truly reflects your style, especially if you are somebody that is trying to corrupt the young men of America. That's what Squarespace is really going to help you. Squarespace makes it easy. It makes it easy for you to put all that together, and you just go to Squarespace and do it all. Thanks, Braden. Head to squarespace.com/left for a free trial. And when you're ready to launch, use offer code LEFT to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. Summer schedules can get busy fast with camps, vacations, sports, family time. And, every single time Carmi eats a block of dark chocolate, we got to take her to the emergency room. You know how much time that takes, all right? IXL makes it easy to keep learning part of the routine in just a few minutes a day. IXL is an award-winning online learning platform that helps kids truly understand what they're learning, whether they're building math confidence, strengthening reading and writing skills, or reviewing science concepts. From pre-K through 12th grade, IXL offers personalized, interactive learning that adapts to each child's level and pace, which is great because Carmi has been really slow in biology, and Wendy has really been struggling with American history, mostly just because she doesn't agree with the way it's being taught. So it's really important. You make an impact on your child's learning. Wendy, as soon as she gets her chicken, she is ready for all of her lessons. And Carmi just really has to eat 5 or 6 bites of liver, beef liver, chicken liver, and then she can really get down to, I'm hoping this is the year she reads To Kill a Mockingbird. So really, IXL, thank you. Make an impact on your child's learning. Get IXL now. And Last Podcast on the Left listeners can get an exclusive 20% off at IXL membership when they sign up today at IXL.com/left. Visit IXL.com/left to get the most effective learning program out there at the best price.
All right, I know what you're thinking. I like to go banking, but I don't want to give to these big old banks all the time that cater to the 1%. Well, go ahead and get yourself hooked up with Chime. It's banking built for you, not just those rich jerks. And they got thousands of fee-free ATMs because why pay to get your own money? Chime is working for you, man. You get your Chime card, you're going to get travel perks, you're going to get into airport lounges, you're going to get those chicken thighs. You know, every time I go to an airport lounge, I get chicken thighs. And you know what I say whenever I see a plate of chicken thighs? Give me more. Chime's going to get you those chicken thighs in these lounges, all right? Sure, they could serve other types of meat, but why would you when chicken thighs are so delicious? Chime is not just smarter banking, it's the most rewarding way to bank. Join the millions who are already banking fee-free today. Head to chime.com/left. That's chime.com/left. It only takes a few minutes to sign up. Chime is a fintech, not a bank. Banking services for Chime Card provided by Chime's bank partners. Optional products and services may have fees or charges. Stated cashback for Chime Prime only. No minimum balance required. For more information on travel perks, go to chime.com/disclosures.
Now, night after night, Roch would drink and rant. And if someone fell asleep during his long sermons, Roch had a wooden club that he'd use to beat them awake. When Maurice Grenier ate pancakes without Roch's permission, he broke 2 of her ribs, despite the fact that she was pregnant. Some of the more particular cruelties, however, were inflicted upon the children. See, at this point, there were plenty of kids and babies running around the camp, most of whom were Roch's own flesh and blood. But if a child was not Roch's, then Roch treated them and made everyone else treat them as if they were less than human. He considered them animals and ordered that the kids sleep apart from their parents, treating them worse than dogs. When Maurice Grenier's 6-month-old baby Samuel cried, Roch ordered that she strip the baby naked and roll him in snow until the baby's entire body was blue and swollen.
All right, today's lesson, we're going to teach you all how to make your children comedians. All right, here we go. Who's got the 6-month-old that's crying?
Pretty soon, Roch was extending physical punishment to anyone who disobeyed him. Then afterward, the follower would write a groveling letter of apology peppered with the insecurities that Roch himself had introduced. This letter is from Francine Laflamme, a.k.a. Hogla, who was beaten after she took seconds at dinner.
Hello, Pappy. I am writing about what you said on the subject of nutrition. It is very true that I nibble. A damnable fault, which I will never again repeat. The thought of ingesting such a large quantity of food in so little time discourages me, even if I work outside the entire day without eating. I ask that you forgive me. If it is stealing, I did not realize it. It is this fault which causes my plumpness. I do not want to be a fat and plump servant. That is too ugly next to the man that you are. I wish to be a true servant to you, my master. Alert, vigorous, with a clear and lively spirit and well balanced to serve you every moment of my life. I have a long way to go. Thank you, Pappy. I love you. Hogla.
Is this the same guy that we've been talking about? He is so gross looking.
Yeah, man, but he's a huge old cop. But we have now gotten several emails from women of the Canadian persuasion who are like, oh yeah, I'll slide on that toboggan.
Well, of course, if we're going to put it into a snow euphemism, I mean, I'll do a whole series of things with him.
Now, Maurice started talking about leaving once the abuse piled upon both her and her child got to be too much. But when Roch heard about her intentions, he took it as an opportunity to introduce even more control. As punishment for even thinking about leaving, Roch ordered Maurice's husband, Jacques, to cut off one of her toes with an axe. Now, at first, Jacques refused, but Roch immediately shamed him into it by saying Jacques didn't have any balls. and didn't have what it-
he did a hardcore. He also dropped a hardcore F word back in there.
Yeah,
Well,
he did.
I'm sorry, but this is exactly what happened in Major League with the testicles, with the balls. This is the whole joke about the dude who couldn't hit the home runs, and they're like, "You got no balls." He's like, "I got big balls."
Oh my God, this whole thing
This
is
is
just
so
Major League 3.
What is going? You got no balls. You better cut off your woman's toe. Oh, that's a good point.
I didn't think about it like that. I certainly don't want you to give me a kid's snow day like you gave to Samuel.
Well, he's going to be very funny when he grows up.
Well, I mean, that didn't sway Jacques. Jacques still refused, even though Roch was sitting there screaming at him, you don't have what it takes to teach your woman a lesson, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
Jacques only agreed to do it when Roch threatened to cut off all of Maurice's toes. And since Jacques believed him, and since Roch had such a strong hold, he took the axe and cut off his wife's pinky toe in front of the whole group.
Oh, my God.
That's it. No more flip-flops.
No more flip-flops. That'll be a hell of a conversation at home. Good grief.
The only person at this point who couldn't take the violence was founding member Jacques Facette, who had been one of the first 4 people brought into the SDA by Pastor Zita. From what Roch told his other members, however, Facette left because the devil had claimed yet another member. Now, of course, the world did not end on February 17th, 1979, like Roch had predicted, which seemed to negate the entire reason why he'd taken everyone out into the wilderness in the first place.
Right.
Roch's excuse for this was that time works differently in heaven.
I am dumb.
You're stupid.
I am dumb. I get
Time's different in heaven.
I am wrong.
Yeah, 1 second in heaven may be as 40 years on earth.
Whoa!
And because of this, his calculations got all mussed up.
These calculations.
It got muddled up.
Oh.
You know, in North Korea, it's the year 109.
Huh.
Yeah, it begins at the birth of the of Kim Jong Soon, I believe. Kim Jong.
Wow.
Yeah, but this almost made things even more terrifying because it meant that Armageddon could come at any moment.
Here it comes.
Whoa! Here comes Armageddon! Whoa! Here comes.
Meanwhile,
Coming again. Here comes Armageddon! Oh, God damn it!
Meanwhile, a newspaper out of Quebec City had discovered the cult and had published an adoringly positive article with a title that almost sounds like a joke. The headline read, quote,
They are happy and free to live if they wish.
What horrible investigative reporting. I think that's safe to say.
yeah, well, I mean, I don't think the Quebec City Times has the fucking best staff around.
No,
What do you mean?
They just thought they were cute. They literally thought
Yeah.
that they were a bunch of, they are rustic, country.
There were a bunch of people wearing potato
hillbillies.
sacks who were starved to death with a bunch of kids who aren't being taken care of, suffering at the hands of a man who looks like a pro wrestler who didn't make the cut.
They are trying to say it's their religious freedom to go out there, and we can't judge them just because they like the smell of logs, both wood and shit.
This is where open-mindedness finds a fault, doesn't it? This is where you can be too open-minded.
Well, actually, with this, I would say this is more bad journalism. Because the reason why the coverage was positive was that because their main source was Jacques Facette, the follower who left. And he'd had nothing but the nicest things to say about Roch Thériault and the lifestyle that the group was living.
Yeah, he was just leaving because he was just sick of it. He just didn't want to be on the commune anymore, and it was before everybody started getting beat.
Yeah. Well, he said, no, he left when people started getting beat. But he said he left not because he was dissatisfied with the conditions or because anything untoward was happening. He said he left because he was curious about the outside world.
Oh, like a cat.
Yeah. And he decided his path lay elsewhere. I think this is one of those things where it's like we talked about in Scientology, where like people who leave Scientology still can't say anything bad about L. Ron Hubbard.
Right.
It's the same shit. Because he's like fresh out of this shit.
Absolutely. So he's like, the lessons were good lessons taught by a teacher that was maybe a little grumpy.
Yeah. I'll never diss Burger King. I worked there for a summer, and I'm always Burger King, man.
Well, also, like, you got to remember this guy is he's still indoctrinated. This guy is still a Christian. He's still not sure. Like, he's still thinking Roch Thériault might be the emissary of God, maybe. So he's thinking if he talks shit, then God might strike him down.
Oh yeah,
God take that chance at any rate.
Well, God always reads. What was that newspaper again?
The Quebec City Times, I think.
That's Scott's favorite.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
what he gets delivered every single morning. The Quebec City Times. He reads it up in heaven.
Yeah, and they'll be delighted to know God is Canadian.
Isn't that nice? That's why he never. But no, God is not. He doesn't apologize nearly enough.
He doesn't.
I could go for a little "I'm sorry" from God every now and again.
Yeah. Well, the article did inspire another round of psychiatric evaluations, and Roch was actually committed to a mental hospital while his psychiatric evaluation was being done. Roch, however, flipped it and called press conferences with the local media, who unanimously said, "Oh, leave him alone."
Great.
They made Roch out to be a folk hero, a shining example of a rugged Canadian blazing a trail in the wilderness. They wrote fawning op-eds with the Montreal Star, fretting that this soft-spoken mountain man would never recover, quote, the serenity he had found prior to his arrest.
Oh, no, I'm crying for him.
Whoa.
Wait.
You're about to get rolled in snow if you keep that up.
Oh, I'm a snow cone.
You were a kid.
Even the director of the mental hospital got on Roch's side, saying that maybe the general public were the crazy ones.
Wait,
did you ever think about it like that? Mm-hmm. All while he willingly referred to Roch by his chosen name of Moses.
Proud to be an American, or at least you know I'm free. I am so mad right now.
There's a
Canada.
middle ground. There's a middle ground between like the I guess permissiveness of Canada and the over incarceration and over punishment of America.
I'm not saying
in
that.
America, we gave them tax fucking exempt status. Scientology doesn't pay taxes. I paid so much more taxes than Scientology
You want to
paid
do
last
that
year.
now? You want to do tax corner? You think that's what the audience wants to hear? Everyone's struggling.
I'm just saying that's what we folded them in. As long as they're making money for the top of the pyramid in America,
Right.
they're totally legit.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But the only people who weren't fooled were the followers' families, and both Chantal Labrie and Francine Laflamme's parents attempted rescues. But by that point, the grip was permanent, and people were about to start dying as a result.
Oh, man.
In October of 1979, Gabrielle Nadeau, the follower with multiple sclerosis, fell into a coma and died. But when her parents retrieved the body, Roch was infuriated that he had not been allowed to bury her at the foot of Eternal Mountain. Well, after that, Roch Thériault said that when someone else inevitably died on the commune, because people were going to die, he was going to do everything in his power to keep the body out of the hands of the authorities, implying that these people belonged to him to do with as he wished.
He wanted your body after you were fucking dead.
Well, that's a fun day, though, of hide the body. It's like, oh, it's Thursday. It's time to play hide the body again.
Oh, here it is. We didn't do a good job hiding it because I'm too weak to bust through the rocks. Damn it.
Meanwhile, the compound was expanding under Roch's direction. He ordered his followers to build a second story for the cabin, new wings to stretch out the living space, and a sauna. Outside, they built a smokehouse, 2 greenhouses, a stable, and a storage room where Roch brewed strong but presumably awful beer.
It was supposed to be very strong, though.
Hear me out. The smoker attached to the sauna smoke is from the smoker. Now you're the meat.
I don't think you're far off. I could legitimately imagine that the wood that they're burning inside of the sauna is the same wood that is in the smoker.
Ooh, very nice.
Once Roch had a compound worth showing off, he got back in touch with his ex-wife Francine, who, remember, Francine had 2 kids with Roch, named Francois and Roch Jr. And he'd done that before he had abandoned Francine for Giselle and the Seventh-day Adventist Church. So, after having a couple of bizarre dinners at fancy restaurants in which Roch brought follower Nicole Ruel and flashed thick wads of cash, Francine was invited to come out to the commune and bring along Roch Jr. and Francois, which she did on multiple occasions.
He acted like fucking old dirty bastard at dinners.
Yeah.
He would come up with these big wads of cash and he's like, buy anything you fucking want. Buy anything. You can do it. I have so much money. You buy the most expensive thing. And he would have this huge display where it was very obnoxious and very embarrassing.
Right.
Him throwing money at people and doing this. It was very intense.
Also, you're in Canada. What are you getting?
I mean, you can get so much
Poutine. That's
lutefisk.
Lutefisk.
Now, usually, Roch would mark the arrival of Roch Jr., Francois, and Francine with a party. And on one night in particular, Roch got drunk and decided to demonstrate a feat of strength. Taking a box of 12-inch nails, Roch began bending them into a V shape, one by one. Those followers, they all clapped with each bent nail.
Look at the seal that is our God. Look at him.
Well, they were showing what Roch felt was the appropriate amount of awe and admiration, because this was obviously not the first time that a feat of strength had been demonstrated.
Honestly, I could use some applause.
Well, you want a round of applause?
I miss it.
Bend some nails, and then we'll give you an applause as soon as you start bending metal.
But Francine, after seeing the absolute ridiculous nature of the display, eventually couldn't hold it in any longer, and she burst out laughing at the absurdity. In response, Roch dragged her from her seat and punched and kicked her as she screamed and cried for help. The followers, now used to this type of sudden violence, simply watched with blank looks on their faces, presumably until Roch was satisfied enough to continue the bending of nails.
Jesus.
He's we'll bring this up time and time again. It's very much like a childlike bully.
Oh.
Where he does not know how to respond.
Childlike.
Yeah, it's very childlike, and we'll see as it goes. And there's something about the childishness of it that makes a lot of his punishments specifically so savage, because it's that idea of the truly me first idea of a child reacting with violence, but you're an over 200-pound, 6-foot tall man.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, even the isolation, I mean, yeah, it is partly a cult tactic, but it is also a very childlike impulse. It's the impulse that a 9-year-old has when he gets in trouble. I'm going to run away and go live in the woods. You know,
I'm going away, and you're all going to miss me, and I'm going to live in my own fortress, and I'm going to jerk off everybody.
It's not about missing you. It's about, like, legally having to get you back alive.
Now, it's at this point that things at Eternal Mountain entered a new level of darkness, although it would by no means be the lowest level Roch would reach. In November of 1980, a 23-year-old mental patient named Guy Veer showed up at the commune after seeing a positive TV report on the cult.
Guy Veer is the only way to describe him. He seemed like he's somewhere between John Coffey and Riff Raff from fucking
Rocky
Horror. Yes.
Rocky Horror, not the rapper Riff Raff.
Well, after talking to Guy, Roch gave him the new name of Kedamoth, put him to work doing back-breaking manual labor, and forced him to sleep and eat in the storage shed outside, all during a Canadian winter.
I just gotta say thank you so much, Roch, because it's so nice I get to sleep next to the shovels.
It is really nice. You can cuddle those shovels.
I got all this room next to the buckets, and I got all this floor I can just spread out on. Not too much spread. I kind of gotta sleep like a snail.
That makes a lot of sense. Yes, indeed. You're by all the pots and pans because you... What's his name? Kettlemore?
Kedamoth.
Kettlemuff. There it is. At least that's not a normal... At least he didn't call him Bart.
Well,
Now
I
we're
mean,
getting-
he'd run out of the really, like, the normal names. He was not going down to Kedamoth, Boaz.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You know, and someone else had already taken Joshua. Yeah, he was running to the bottom of the barrel.
There's also kind of... So I have a little bit of a misunderstanding of... Because Guy Veer joined... Because there seems to be a weird thing, because Roch says, we took in this man, he needed help, and we're saving him. But Guy Veer seems like he apparently just wandered away from a mental hospital. Like, literally, like left this mental hospital and just ended up there. Like,
Yeah,
just took
we have
the
an
bus.
open door policy here at Crazy Inc.
Well, a lot of mental hospitals do. Most mental hospitals are, they're on a voluntary basis. And, Guy Veer was suffering from severe depression. And he thought that, maybe this guy, Roch Thériault, had some answers. So, Roch gave him a new name, put him to work doing manual labor, forced him to eat in the storage shed. And after a whole winter eating and living in the storage shed, when Roch presented Guy with a contract, Guy fucking jumped.
Okay.
The contract said that Guy would be allowed a room in the house if he took on 24-hour care of the 3 commune children who were not Roch's own.
Great.
These kids were Samuel and Miriam Jaguar, aged 2 and 4, and Simon Ouellette, aged 2. Now, at this point, Roch had fathered children by Solange, Giselle, and Nicole, but those kids were kept far away from Guy Veer. But that's not to say Roch's kids were treated like royalty. But the only one who was treated as somewhat of an equal was Roch Jr., who was now 12 years old and staying his summers at the commune, because Roch Jr. fucking loved it there.
He loved it because he got treated like a little prince, and he's starting to be groomed by his own father to say, this is how us as kings and you as the son of God's first love show up.
Right. I guess when you're part of the royal family, it's not so bad.
Mm-hmm. Well, as far as the kids born on the commune went, they were never allowed to play with their mothers or receive any kind of parental love from anyone but Roch, at least when it came to his children. They, at the very least, got Roch. The ones who weren't his weren't allowed to receive any love whatsoever and were essentially being raised as a slave class in the tiny society that Roch Thériault was building.
Literally working. Like actual like toddlers working.
You're critical now, but wait until they debut on Comedy Central's Premium Blend, and then we're going to see.
That doesn't even exist anymore.
I know, and then we're going to see.
That show's from 1998.
That was kind of the bit.
Oh yeah, this is. Oh, so you're saying you're timing your bit for the time that this was in. Oh,
time in the bag.
With any luck, they'll be on the Carol Burnett show.
Honestly, I bet Carol Burnett got the shit beat out of her as a girl.
Oh, it sounds pretty brutal for everyone.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't know. I haven't heard one person have a good childhood ever. I don't know. Sometimes we should write a book that says it was okay.
Well, as such, while Roch's children were allowed to eat and sleep in the main house, the others were relegated to sheds or simply the outdoors, which makes it entirely unsurprising that one of them ended up dead. Now, we don't know exactly what happened to Samuel Jaguar, but it's thought that the whole thing started when Guy Vere, after being kept awake one night by the child's crying, punched the 2-year-old in the face until Samuel fell unconscious. Now, despite what some of the followers later told police, the child was bruised but otherwise fine the next day and could sit up on his own. But for some reason, Roch decided that the problem with Samuel was that he wasn't circumcised. And on that night, Roch attempted amateur surgery for the first time on a 2-year-old.
No one said anything as he put the fucking reflector shield on and he
That's
got
so
the
disgusting.
gloves going on. No one said fucking anything.
There's a special place in hell for people who hurt a child.
Using a razor blade, Roch circumcised the child, which I suppose isn't the most complicated surgery, considering how it's done in Jewish homes by moils all the time.
Yeah, I've done it like 4 or 5 times. It's easy.
Yeah, be careful.
They just stay there. They just sit there.
Yeah, the old teeth thing there, kind of nuts.
But moils have training. Roch had only his own arrogance. Thinking that the child needed anesthetic, Roch poured pure ethanol into a rubber bulb and pumped it into Samuel's stomach. And before long, Roch had killed the 2-year-old through acute alcohol poisoning.
What an absolute moron.
I mean, and it's deadly.
That's how he thought. Okay,
Yeah. Knowing immediately that an investigation would come if this fuck-up was ever discovered, Roch Thériault ordered that the body be incinerated the next day, reasoning that if they simply buried Samuel, the crows and bears would dig up and eat the body. In reality, he's just destroying evidence.
But
I guess he was 2 years old, so he couldn't exactly be like, well, he was a drunk officer. He was at the bar getting hammered. You can look at the blood alcohol content.
I tried to take the keys from him, but you tried to take the keys from a 2-year-old.
He's crazy.
But it is weird because we don't really know what happened. We don't fully know. We don't know why he decided that something happened with the circumcision. I don't know why that necessarily happened. We don't know if Guy Vere actually did punch him because Roch, they basically, all of this shit happened at night, and then they basically just found Roch with a dead kid.
Yeah. And this all came from Giselle, because Giselle later told her fucking story. And yeah, this is what she said happened. Now, even though Roch had obviously killed the child himself, he blamed Guy Vere and put Guy on trial in the commune for the death of baby Samuel. In this, Roch used members of his own cult to organize a perversion of criminal court, with Jacques as the judge, Giselle as the prosecutor, and Claude as the defense. Gabrielle, being the nurse of the group, acted as coroner, while Solange, Francine, Chantal, Josie, and Maurice played jury.
It's almost like they're trying to set up a town.
It is weird. There's something about this that really, I don't know why this is where it starts to kind of get creepy for me, because they acted out role-playing style where they put out chairs, They set the scene. They all acted like it was a real court. They all, like, you know, the judge sat in a big chair in front of everybody else. They all separated. They did it like it was a set from Law and Order.
Right.
And
Yeah.
there's something about this being like, oh, so they're now fully playing into a complete elaborate fantasy that that is all orchestrated by Roch.
There's a dead child involved.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's setting this up as a society. Like, this is our society. I mean, Ben, you're not far off. They are trying to make their own town. They're,
No, I know.
I don't know. They're like 5 years away from, you know, screaming sovereign citizen.
That's the thing with cults. It's just, you're just building a town. Like, it already exists.
Yeah, play SimCity. Civilization 6 is also a good way to get all those little, you know, some of your more, I'm going to say, sultry impulses.
I'm very happy that you have that as a release. Very happy.
Well, after an hour of testimony and debate, Veer was found not guilty by reason of insanity.
Whoa, that's a big get.
He said he believed in science. He's crazy.
Crazy.
But this wasn't good enough for Roch Thériault. 2 hours after the verdict was read, Roch took Jacques aside and suggested that maybe, just maybe, they should castrate Guy Veer instead.
And, you know, and then Jacques is like, oh, I don't know. There was a court. We did a whole court. And he's just like, let me tell you something, Jacques. The court, it didn't mean fucking anything.
What?
I just fucking make shit up as I fucking go, friend.
So another vote was taken from a wider pool, which included the 12-year-old Roch Jr., and the vast majority voted for castration. Now, Guy Veer understandably objected. But
Hey,
Roch...
hey, maybe we should
Hold on.
maybe we should take a mulligan.
Yeah. You know what they do in the car? You're going downhill. You want to pump the brakes? Pump the brakes a little bit.
But Roch calmly talked him into it by telling Guy that those headaches he'd been suffering would all go away if Roch was only able to remove Guy's left testicle.
The thing, though, is that honestly, Roch, that I guess that makes some kind of sense. No,
I don't know.
But why don't you, instead of me saying I have a headache, you tell me I got balls ache?
Roch also argued that Guy had respiratory problems due to excessive masturbation.
It is hard for me. That's my only cardio.
Yeah, well, and all the work that you do 24 hours a day.
And nothing would cure something like that better than a good old-fashioned backwoods castration.
All right, let's get that ball out of there. Who has a straw and who can suck the hardest?
There's certain things that are just better from the side of the road. Boiled peanuts, barbecue, and fucking dirty-ass gulch castration.
Yeah, absolutely. Get it done fast, get it done wrong.
Roch even had Guy write a letter of consent affirming Guy's specific status as a sterile eunuch within the group.
Oh, wow.
Also, I would like you to write a letter to your left testicle saying how much you enjoyed having it inside of your body and saying how much you're going to miss it.
Dear Lefty,
Yeah.
I'm going to miss you mostly on vacation because you helped my bathing suit look even. But honestly, I won't regret all the other things that you make me do, like want to succeed in a job. Want to make love to a woman.
Oh.
Bye, Lefty.
Oh, bye.
Well, this letter, which sounds terribly childlike, partly said, quote,
See, I said no because I was scared. Now I say yes. Because anyway, my testicles aren't doing me any good.
Yeah, they are.
Nah, man, I'm too heavy on the left side. And it's making my brain drift.
And so, Claude and Jacques held Guy's legs while Chantal focused a pin light on his scrotum, and Roch prepared to perform the surgery. He wrapped an elastic band around Guy's genitals and removed his testicles with a razor blade, leaving behind nothing more than a flaccid, empty sack.
It kind of looks like a sail on a big pink ship.
Yeah, if you think about it. So that he took both the balls.
Oh, yeah.
He took both of them, not just one of them. Okay.
According to Roch Jr., who was forced to watch the whole thing, the testicles were put in a Kleenex and thrown away. The scrotum turned purple and bled for a week after that, but still the torture did not end. For the next month, when Roch got drunk, which was often, he'd strap Veer to a tree and whip him until his entire body was black and blue. One time, he stripped Veer naked, tied him to a post, and ordered his followers to stab him to death. When they picked up the knives and were about to go through with it, Roch told them to stop and maniacally laughed at the fact that they were actually gonna do it.
Whoa, dude! Whoa, that was a fucking bit, man!
That was a bit?
you
Because we were about
crazy!
to kill this guy.
You guys are
Roch,
crazy!
you gotta be careful with the bits, bro.
You
We were
are
about
the
to kill
ones.
him.
You are the ones taking shit too far.
But we were just following orders.
You are the one crazy with the knives. Who gave you these?
At least he's having fun.
But after about a month of this abuse, Guy Veer snuck off the commune, walked the 13 miles back to town, and told a local that a toddler had been killed up on Eternal Mountain after being kicked in the head by a horse.
Well, sir, this is a sandwich shop. Thank you so much for just dropping that. Cool. All right, tuna? You want tuna?
Yeah, I just saw the word sub. I thought I should come in.
Once
He's a sub.
Well, once word of the child's death made it back to the authorities, cops stormed the compound and took away all the children and made Roch, Jacques, Maurice, Gabriel, and Guy criminally responsible for the death of Samuel Giguère.
All right, there must be some punishment then.
It's 2 years in jail.
Yeah, Roch got sentenced to jail.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, he got 2 years in jail. The others got lesser sentences. And Giselle rented an apartment in the town where they were all being held, where the other cult members and their children could live.
Okay.
And without fail, when one of Roch's followers was released from prison, they joined Giselle and the others. And over the course of 2 years of incarceration, Roch didn't lose a single follower.
Oh my God.
This is what I was talking about with the sticky, is the
Right.
fact that they had full-on opportunities to leave. Now Roch is in jail. They have all been, they all thought, including the authorities, the spell will now be broken.
Right.
This cult will just drift away. It will break apart and go. But they doubled down. And Roch spent the entire time screaming on the phone like he was Tom Cruise making his Mission Impossible 7. Like, he is literally screaming all day, getting
Show me
everybody
the money.
saying,
Show me the money.
me the money.
Show me the money.
Yeah. Now, I think they said that they their collect call bill was about $500 a month.
Jeez.
And they paid for it and they spent all of their welfare checks instead of buying food for the kids or for themselves. They spent all of their money on paying for collect calls so Roch could keep his control over his followers.
Oh yeah, because we didn't fully go into it because it's kind of boring. This whole thing was they were also in the middle of a massive welfare scam. They were all just taking money and giving it up to Roch.
Yeah. The compound they built was bulldozed and burned, but his followers saw the entire affair as a test. As the writers of Savage Messiah put it, they were an island of purity in a hostile world populated by demons, sinners, and corrupt influences. And their devotion to Roch was the only thing keeping them alive.
So you're fucking this guy that looks like Bruiser Brody. You got one dead baby, one guy with no balls, no food, and you guys have been working like dogs for nothing for how many years now?
Wait a second, did you say for nothing? You say for nothing?
You got no money. You have nothing.
Look, it's these beans.
You do have beans.
4 years.
4 years.
4 years
Wow.
when he went into prison. It was 4 years, but by the time he got out of prison, it had been 6 years, and they're still there. I mean, the only thing that really changed during his stint in prison was that Giselle, aka Mammy, she wanted to step down, and Solange happily took the second in command spot. And Roch even managed to get 3 of his followers pregnant during weekend visitations while he was in prison.
They have an incredible leniency towards conjugal visits.
Yeah.
He got one every month. He got to fuck every month.
That's nice for him, though.
While in prison, Roch took a page from Hitler's book and worked on his memoir.
Uh-oh.
It was called L'Affaire Moise, or The Moses Affair.
Oh, God, this guy, was it, oh, God, is it the Pelican Brief? Is he writing that next?
Roch rambled into a tape recorder for hours, and out of a 367-page transcript, a ghostwriter brought it down to 173.
I mean, and it is tough being a ghostwriter because you can oftentimes light the paper on fire when you get angry and your head turns into flames if you think about the...
Wow, so this is a pun that you try to construct about Ghost Rider.
Ghost Rider. He's talking about the motorcycle hero.
The motorcycle hero
It's
Ghost
a pun.
Rider.
It's a pun on top of multiple puns. It's simple brilliance.
You're
It's
like-
simple brilliance.
I'm going to start calling you the Samuel Clemens of this table. Oh. You know who that is?
No, I don't.
I won't tell you.
Is it bad?
No, it's I'm going to say undeserved, but
Who's Samuel Clemens? Also, we were not supposed to do so many sidebars. Who's Samuel Clemens? Who is he?
Should I tell him, Dog Meat?
go ahead.
It's Mark Twain.
Never heard of him.
Well, the memoir. released by a minor Quebec publisher to the tune of 5,000 copies, was a justification parade in which Roch claimed that he and his followers were persecuted because they lived on the margins of society and had discovered a more meaningful, peaceful truth.
Man, my fucking justification parade is going to be so long and so loud.
Can't wait.
I cannot wait to have my fucking weaponized tubas. When I take my justification parade down to where my agency used to be.
You know, this is the Lakers NBA championship parade,
Yeah,
Mr.
it's
Zabrowski.
also,
This isn't.
I'm taking up the back of it.
You're taking the back of the parade. Okay.
Well, as far as the whole business with Guy Vera went, Roch wrote that Guy had wanted it. He claimed that Guy had gone on and on for months about his desire to become a eunuch for the Holy Virgin, and Roch was only too happy to oblige. In one short passage, which Henry will now read, Roch Thériault reimagined himself as a beloved, generous leader who had, through the very virtue of existing, led a group of misfits to the promised land. And for this, they treated him as they would a king.
On returning from my daily 3-kilometer walk one Saturday in June of 1980, I saw Nathan and Boaz come towards me. They greeted me and hoisted me onto their shoulders amid cries of, "Long live the king!" Suddenly, the others appeared and picked up the chant. They revealed what I represented to them: a model, a guide, a hero. In other words, I had become the sovereign of their hearts. As confirmation, my wife Esther placed on my head, while flutes played in the background, a metal crown. Next, they placed a robe around my shoulders and a rod in my hand like I stepped there. My friends informed me that from that day forward, they would celebrate an annual festival of the king in my honor.
They dressed you up like Jerry Lawler.
He looked like Jerry Lawler.
This whole thing is just wrestling gone horribly wrong.
It looks like Tugboat dressed as Jerry Lawler.
Oh, Tugboat.
But while this is an extended, deep, weird fantasy to write a lie within your own journal of a thing that obviously did not happen, there are bits of it that are real, because this is about the time when he started to dress in costumes, because he did have it's very much, man. Do you remember the fucking Metallica video from the Unforgiven?
Oh, yeah. Of course.
Yeah.
The lot of this second half of this fucking reminds me of that video where it's just him with that fucking crown next to him and fucking hat hanging out, dude. And there's like that kind of murky thing where he's like this like metal god, but still you can see his crown is made of paper.
Unforgiven, man. Unforgiven 2. Fun little Metallica tunes.
The Unforgiven tune. Man, forget it.
Just like that. It sounded just like that, Henry.
Hey, man. Fucking clean us over again.
Now, Roch did write that this was just a bit of harmless frivolity, but this was really how his followers thought of him. They were his subjects, and he was their divinely chosen king. And until the day he was finally taken out, they did whatever he wanted.
And for a queen, we have Queen Carlotta from Desperate Living. Isn't that fun? Walk backwards on Tuesdays. Desperate Living. If you haven't seen it, that is one of my favorite John Waters films. Speaking of bad royalty, it's disgusting.
It's about to get real. Actually, it's gonna. This is about to get real fucking Desperate Living. This is about to get to that, but like so much fucking worse.
But very bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm getting prepared.
So in February of 1984, Roch Thériault was released from prison, having lost not a single follower over the course of 2 years being apart. Now, in those 2 years, his followers had gotten pretty used to living in actual houses with heating and plumbing, and everyone was just crossing their fingers, hoping that Roch would simply join them in civilization.
Roch, wouldn't you just love to have a common room?
Sounds nice, right?
Wouldn't it just be nice to have just like a room, you know?
Anything, walls, the whole thing.
But immediately upon his release, Roch proclaimed that it was time for a second exodus into the woods. Now, he was forbidden from associating with the followers who had also been arrested while they were in the confines of Quebec, but that didn't apply to the rest of Canada. So, within days of Roch's release from prison, he and Jacques got in a truck and headed west to Ontario on the hunt for their second commune. This one, where the worst of Roch Thériault's crimes would be committed, was a 200-acre parcel east of Burnt River.
Do you ever do a Google map of Burnt River?
No.
It's out there, my friend. I don't even know how the fuck they found it, but apparently it's got a really good dispensary now.
Oh, cool.
Well, once the whole cult was moved back out into the boonies, they built a sawmill from a chainsaw motor to produce beams and boards for the construction of a full community in the Canadian wilderness.
This is the only thing that is insane to me. He did build, obviously, Roch Thériault is full of shit. Absolutely, he's a clown. But he managed to engineer a homespun, like, industrial workload, like a factory. Like, he created a log cutter. He created, like, all of these hoists. He's the only cult leader that I know of, that I remember of, who's a straight-up engineer.
Well, and like a log cutter, he's a real asshole.
This is why people come to the show.
I'm gonna give it back to him. The Samuel Clemens over there.
Samuel Clemens.
Samuel Clemens.
I heard Samuel Clemens changed his name from Mark Twain.
You did hear that. We just keep raising the bar.
I know it.
Call me a squirrel, 'cause I'm covered in acorns. That's right. So many people are focused on where their money is today. And Acorns is the financial wellness app that cares about where your money is going tomorrow. Let Acorns work for you. You put acorns in the ground and you're gonna get trees tomorrow. That's right, investments. And with the Acorns potential screen, you could find out what your money is capable of. I always do that. I'm like, I want to invest in something that I like. Let's say cheeseburgers. Okay? That's kind of hard to do. Acorns will help you find a cheeseburger that is right for you. So sign up now, and Acorns will boost your new account with a $5 bonus investment. Wow! Join the over 14 million all-time customers who have already saved and invested over $27 billion with Acorns. Head to acorns.com/left or download the Acorns app to get started. Paid non-client endorsement. Compensation provides incentive to positively promote Acorns. Tier 2 compensation provided. Potential subject to various factors such as customers' accounts, age, and investment settings. Does not include Acorns fees. Results do not predict or represent the performance of any Acorns portfolio. Investment results will vary. Investing involves risk. Acorns Advisors, LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor. View important disclosures at acorns.com/left.
You know, I rip around in the bed. You might actually not be surprised by this, but I'm a restless sleeper. I roll back and forth like an alligator with a wounded deer. But something's changed in my house, and it's thanks to Boll and Branch. You know, people keep their bedding way longer than they should. It's because people are afraid of change. Not me. I burn my sheets once a week, but I don't need to, because Boll and Branch's signature organic cotton sheets, pillows, blankets, and comforters are all designed to be breathable, incredibly soft. They get better over time. Start with the signature sheets. You're going to buy 2 sets so you can rotate them. Come on, you're going to want to. The moment you get into bed, you'll notice the difference. I know I did. I just got fresh from the bath. I was fully lotioned. And sliding into those sheets kind of felt like, to be honest, I felt like the luckiest pasta filling in the whole world. All right, they're really good. You will like them. You will feel like a brand new laid chicken. Which is, we're all going for it. Just trying to be a hot chick again. Sleep cooler this summer with Boll and Branch during their annual summer event. For a limited time, get 20% off site-wide at bollandbranch.com/left with code LEFT. That's Boll and Branch, BOLLAND branch.com/left. Code LEFT to take 20% off. bollandbranch.com/left, code LEFT. Exclusions apply.
It's summertime, baby. And you know what that means. You're going to go to Quince and you're going to get yourself some new clothes. Something happened to me by accident recently. I had a nice little Quince mistake. It was Father's Day, and we wanted to get Julie's dad something nice, so naturally we went to Quince. We looked around and we were like, oh, look at this 100% organic cotton mesh stitch button-up sweater polo. I think Bob's really going to like this. So we get it, and we buy it, and then you know what happened? A little fudge, a little mistake. Accidentally sent it to our house instead of Bob's house. Julie's like, oh, I'll just get a refund from Quince and we'll mail Bob another one. I was like, oh, okay, that sounds nice. But, maybe I should just see it first. She pulls it out. I was like, whoa, look at that. It's like a button-down polo with nice little holes in it. It's breathable. It's not bad. I think I'm going to wear this to Jazz Fest this weekend. Wore it to Jazz Fest. Got 3 comments. One was by a lady. Not bad, Quince. So get your hiney over to quince.com and treat yourself good and feel good. Look good this summer. Make your summer wardrobe easier. Go to quince.com/last for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. Now available in Canada too. It gets hot up there. That's QUINCE.com/last for free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/last. Look like a prince and you quince, you jerks.
Well, as far as construction went, first came an A-frame cabin, and soon after, the cult built a large 2-story house with a kitchen and private sleeping quarters for Roch. Strangely, or perhaps appropriately, Roch had his own personal toilet built in his own bedroom, where anyone who happened to be in there with him was forced to watch as Roch took a dump.
Man, that's the ultimate power move.
Yeah.
What a difference between having a bedroom adjacent to or connected to your master bedroom and having the bathroom in the master bedroom.
Put the toilet in the center of it, yes. In the center, yes.
Yeah.
Perfect. I like to be able to shit with my legs in a V position.
So you're like, hey, Roch, how was jail? He's like, it was absolutely horrible, but I did like the layout.
The best part is,
the rooms
honestly,
are nice.
think about this. It's kind of a paradise. You got a little sink. Oh, who needs all of the? I hate to be clean anyway. Yeah. And then you've got the fucking bed. It's right next to where I shit.
Whoa, that's so convenient.
Well, after the house came a bakery, a smokehouse, and a sugar shack where Roch's cult could make as much maple syrup as their little Canadian hearts desired.
As legally required by the Canadian government.
Absolutely.
Finally came a sanctuary built of stone where Roch would speak to God. Beginning to end, they built all of these structures, which were apparently immaculately constructed, in just 5 months.
Wow.
Now, during the first Exodus, Roch had 20 people under his spell, but after a few of them died and a few left when shit got too weird, Roch was now down to 13, in addition to 10 children.
Oh my God.
These were the most fervent of Roch's followers, and each of them settled into a role that inevitably served Roch. Solange was the arbiter of disputes. Chantal was Roch's personal chef. Nicole was Chantal's assistant. Maurice cut Roch's hair, and Francine was Roch's personal masseuse.
Ooh.
As far as practicality went, Giselle was surrogate mother to the children. Josie was in charge of firewood and keeping the stoves burning. Jacques and Claude were the outdoor guys, and Gabrielle, being the only one who spoke English, was the interpreter to the outside world.
And Roch Jr. got into improv. Isn't that nice?
Hey, look, he can make up so many characters so easily.
Wow.
But almost immediately, the cruelty began anew and was worse than ever. Maurice Grenier still hadn't left, despite the fact that Roch was responsible for the death of her child, and Roch singled her out for punishment. She was beat for the smallest infractions, things other more dedicated members would skate past, and she was ordered to live separately from the group with her 2 surviving children, and none of them were allowed to mix with the group at large. This arrangement lasted until her oldest child, Miriam, was old enough to be accepted into the group. But when that day came, she was ordered to live in the men's cabin with Claude and Roch Jr., and was forbidden to speak with her mother, Maurice, anymore. Roch also started pumping social services for welfare and turned his followers into expert shoplifters. They were told that anything they stole was rightfully theirs, and anytime they were caught, they were let off with a warning out of pity.
It's kind of like the Adolfo Costanzo thing, where he told them all, we have God's permission. Mm-hmm. God forgives you of stealing because you're stealing for God. Yeah, you're stealing for him. And then they went to go do it, and they constantly get let off because they would show up. It's both a conscious scheme and a naive move where these people in tunics would show up with like 3 babies attached to them, and they would find them. They would create these special outfits that they would wear when they would go shoplifting. They would have compartments filled with pounds and pounds of food that would fill, and they would leave, and they would come, and they would just they would find people obviously shoplifting, and then they would take all the food from them, but then they're just looking at these, like, quote, to them, these like simple bumpkins that were like living out in the woods, and they would just kind of
speak English.
No English, purposefully too, because he also made sure that they wouldn't.
Yeah.
Because he didn't want them to be able to communicate. And they would just be like, I guess we just let him go, because what am I going to do? We're going to put this mom and her kids in jail, and she's just, obviously, she just loves stalks of corn so much she wants to live with them.
Oh, absolutely.
Roch also had all of his followers call and write their extended family begging for money, coaching the cult to guilt their relatives into supporting grandchildren that they had neither seen nor were even told had existed up until that point. But all of this still wasn't enough to support the cult. And when it was discovered that the soil on Burnt River was too poor to produce crops, Roch had the bright idea to get into the fruit business.
Oh, that's always a bright idea.
It's always there. It just grows.
It is.
He sent Jacques and Claude down to the Niagara Peninsula, which is apparently known as Ontario's fruit belt.
Yeah, the fruit belt I normally wear it's just covered in berries.
Absolutely. All right, so what we're going to do today, take that grape, throw it at that apple. We're going to try to make grapples. Okay? If this works, guys, if this works, we're going to be millionaires.
Well, they brought back hundreds of pounds of produce that the rest of Roch's followers sold to tourists and locals at stands around the province. This business model actually proved to be quite a success. So Roch formed a company and called it what else but the Anthill Kids.
He said the title of the episode.
Because, as we said, they all work together like a colony of busy little ants, selling fruit, pies, and preserves.
Is this the only cult with a name that's LLC'd?
Heaven's Gate.
Heaven's Gate had an LLC. Yeah.
That's right. That with the website and the Packers logo they stole.
But true to cult form, the followers still starved, despite pie and preserves being everywhere. Because they were living off of corn, cabbage, and potatoes. That was it.
That's not good. That's just, honestly, that's a fart slurry.
Oh,
no, it's always fart slurry. Cults always eat fart slurry.
Man, where's the meat? Where's the meat?
The meat is at the store that you were unable to steal, Becky. So maybe you go back out there to the Walgreens or the whatever we have around here.
I tried to lift a hand, but my hands fell asleep.
That's a heavy ham. Oh.
Roch also began drinking again, which, before long, would turn the commune into a nightmarish, violent hellscape.
I'm surprised they didn't turn on him with the drinking, to be honest.
It's God choosing to drink.
Because
God needed to relax. That's what he's saying. Straight up, God needs to relax. God needs to get in the headspace. This booze allows me to get in the fucking headspace. He says weird shit. And it's really interesting because before this, he started working them to death. And they all preferred new capitalist Roch way more than they preferred drunk dad fucking treating this as a fucking sex cult, side of Roch. So they were, as soon as this happened, because that's when the business starts falling apart too, right? Like immediately as soon as he starts boozing.
Yeah. Right. But before things truly turned dark, Roch indulged. He would get trashed and call for Nicole or Chantal to fetch his king's jewels, which were really just worthless costume trinkets.
So fucking creepy. This creeps me out. I don't know what it is. It's something about putting on all the fake shit and walking around and then everyone having to act like it's real, even though he also knows it's not real. They know it's not real, and they all are just in this massive, ornate, shared fantasy.
Yeah. Well, he's wearing them. He's rambling on about how valuable they are. They're all agreeing with him. They're clapping because, they knew that if they didn't, the consequences would be dire. And what he's doing is he is shaping their objective reality. He's making them believe that what he said was true, no matter what their eyes, their own experience, or anyone else was telling them.
God, who does that sound like?
I don't know. But
who does that fucking just sound like?
I could put my finger on it. But why do we worship gold? Why do we worship jewels and gems?
Because it's shiny.
It's a construct.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
But they are shiny.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah, they are shiny, and they actually serve. They serve purposes.
They shine. But it's an idea, right? You're like, there's not much of that. We better fight over that.
Yeah, it's just been around since we have a fascination with things that are shiny and easily moldable.
Yeah.
Well, once Roch got tired of jewel talk, he'd bring multiple women into his room, having sex with one while 2 or 3 others gave him a massage. Sometimes,
Yeah, they would rub his legs and his butt.
Yeah. Sometimes all 8 women would participate in a cult orgy while Mozart or Beethoven played from a battery-powered tape deck. But even after Roch ejaculated, he still wouldn't let them go to sleep. Instead, he'd order all of the women to either masturbate or caress one another while he watched. And of course, Roch also took these orgies as a way to exert more control.
Yeah, it's high energy activity too. And it's connective. It's making them all kind of connected to each other. And it kind of keeps it going because there is some pleasure in it, which is the converse side of it, is that you're being forced, but there's also weirdly, there is physical pleasure. So he's trying to like Pavlov train them too, where like he mixes it specifically being like, I'm giving you this pleasure, but the punishment's right fucking behind it.
Yeah. And he would purposefully pay more attention to one woman while pointedly ignoring another, especially if he knew those 2 women already had a problem. And in inspiring jealousy, he also inspired further adoration. Sometimes, Roch encouraged these rivalries further by drawing a square on the ground, where the women would be forced to fight each other naked, while Roch sat and scored the match, a point given for a punch and a point taken away for going outside the square.
Oh, my goodness. It is sumo rules, I guess. Sumo rules.
Sometimes Roch himself would participate in these fights, but usually this was just a trussed-up public beating for his opponent, because anyone who hurt Roch would be punished even worse. Sometimes Roch would put a man in the square and direct the women to beat him senseless, while the man had no choice but to just take it. And from what one of the guys said who got one of these beatings, he said these women, they worked in the woods for years. They were extraordinarily strong. And when they beat you, it fucking hurt.
Yeah, they were fucking beating the shit out of everybody. This is where it's getting real fucking woodsy. Because the idea of then like now it's everybody's beating everybody.
Right.
Everybody's
fighting
naked while it's happening. He's turning them into animals, pitting them against each other.
And it's sex mixed with the physical punishments, just to get making them all like he's blurring all of these lines and breaking everybody's like the old societal ways are just being stripped piece by piece by piece.
I think that's what Dana White is doing right now with Fight Island. Kind of
What's
interesting.
Fight Island?
Fight Island.
Fight Island is where they have all the UFC fights. It's for COVID. He literally bought an island.
That's kind of cool though. That seems fun.
It's a Dana White UFC joke.
Yeah, dude, but but that's good though because they're trained to fight each other,
Exactly.
and that's like a sport. That's like a thing. So it's not
different.
like this.
Yeah, like they're not all the UFC fighters aren't fighting for Dana White's approval.
Yeah, do they all suck Dana
Well, they
White's
are
dick?
actually, but I am not going to explain this to you guys. But somebody out there got it.
Well, as Roch's drinking got worse, so too did the punishments, and it seemed like God would be particularly adamant about the most extreme punishments, specifically when Roch drank.
Because Roch called God Master. And
Yeah.
so he said that everything that he got came straight from Master. So he got closer to Master when he drank. And so all of this is not
Oh, my
him.
God.
He's just a vessel. He is
Yeah.
just being forced to do this. This is all commands that the Master is giving him.
Sounds like Randy from South Park when he went to go see the Little League games, just getting absolutely hammered, getting arrested every time. Be like, "This is America! This is America!" He's just it's such an alcoholic thought, such a drunk fever dream idea.
Yeah. Well, Roch told his followers that they were all inherently evil, and by beating them, he was beating the devil out of their souls. And this was all when he was drunk. Sometimes he struck his followers in the face randomly with the flat of an axe blade, or he'd thwack them on the forehead with a hammer. But his punishments weren't just physical beatings. One of his old standbys was to strip followers naked and urinate on them as they lay on the floor, often making them open their mouths to make it as awful as possible. And sometimes he'd just do it for fun.
God, I hate Pappy Sprinkler.
It's not good. Larry Lawton, if you watch the Larry Lawton YouTube channel, he's an ex-con who stole the most amount of jewels in America, but he has a story with CEOs doing things like that to him. It's freaking brutal.
Wow.
It is nasty stuff, man. This power control
Pee-pee, man.
sub stuff is nasty.
Possibly worse than that was when he would make his followers lick someone else's anus just after they defecated. Then he would force them to pick up the turd and smear their cheeks and forehead with feces.
Wait, when did oh, right.
Yeah.
When did this,
Yeah,
when did this start? When did all the
When-
dookie stuff start?
And with the pee-pee.
Yeah, he had the pee-pee and it came first, and then the poopy came right afterwards, and
well,
he
it's
definitely made someone do the whole, because it's a chocolate fountain over there.
I don't...
Well, it's
all right.
it's what we talking about with the childlike stuff, playing with human waste, using that as punishments. And most of the time, like this the shit punishment in particular was usually saved for Gabrielle, one person in particular.
Well, there's nothing wrong with having a fun fetish and all
No,
that stuff.
yeah,
but this
you can
is
eat
totally,
shit all day
this
if you
is
like
totally
it.
different. I mean, if you want to eat,
Yeah,
whatever.
eat
Honestly,
shit.
you can.
Yeah.
If you
Eat
want
shit.
to. Yes.
Whatever you do.
Pig stomach, yeah.
It's fucking pandemic, man. Do what you got to do. But Gabrielle...
How'd you get through the pandemic?
I'm a bit of a beaver. I'm a bit of a busy beaver.
Yeah, sounds like it.
But Gabrielle, the reason why she got this specific punishment is that she used to brag, quote unquote, brag. She was just an actual nurse. And so
Yeah.
whenever she tried to correct or say something health wise to Roch or how we could do something that you want,
Right.
he would do this punishment to her.
Yeah.
All right.
Every time, the followers walked away appearing contented, even happy, because they believed that the punishments had restored their favor with God, and Moses had brought them back to the righteous path. But every once in a while, someone would fight back. On one occasion, Jacques punched Roch in the face and sent him flying over a pile of chairs. And to determine his punishment, Roch set up another one of his courts, which were becoming more and more common in order to figure out punishments. As opposed to the trial of Guy Viers, Roch decided he was the best person to preside as judge, and Roch always presided wearing an elegant black tuxedo.
I have no clue how we kept it fucking clean.
Jeez.
Well, after Jacques was found guilty, Roch chose circumcision as the punishment.
It seems like that's your go-to.
Yeah, it's kind of like my favorite thing.
It seems like
some
it.
people like boxes all covered in string and kitty cats and cake and shit. I like a castration.
Oh my goodness, this town needs an enema.
Yeah, it does. I keep want to say this reminds me of Dracula Dead
It
and
really
Loving.
does.
This sentence was carried out by one of his followers with one swift chop of the knife, and Jacques was lucky to only lose his hood in the process.
Oh.
But invariably, when Roch sobered up, he'd cry like a child and beg God to stop commanding such acts of brutality.
That's to me also deeply frightening. And then
Yeah.
he wakes up all hungover and then he falls to his knees in front of everyone just going like, why do you make me do this, master? Why do you make me do this? And they have to sit there being like, yeah, master, why do you make him do this?
Never a day without drama, I guess.
But remember, it wasn't just adults on this commune. 10 children came to Burnt River with the Anthill kids, and the local social workers, particularly the Kawartha Halliburton Children's Aid Society, had noticed. Now, at first, the social workers were charmed by Roch just as much as anyone else was. He gave them a tour of the commune and filled the visitors with bullshit, claiming that he'd been a missionary for the SDA Church, a paramedic for 4 years, the head of a health clinic in Quebec City, and the mayor of Thetford Mines.
Oh, yeah.
This is where the internet does come in handy.
It does.
But in October of 1984, Quebec released a bulletin all across Canada informing everyone about the death of baby Samuel and the castration of a mental patient named Guy Vier. After this, a social worker named Georgia Brown took it as her own personal mission to save the children.
Yay, please do.
Completely unfazed by Roch's charm, Georgia Brown saw through Roch Thériault immediately.
And this woman, think about, they are in the middle of fucking nowhere. They
Yeah.
had to go hike out to check. So
In
now
the winter,
they're
they had to take snowmobiles.
They had to take snowmobiles, and now this woman, because this woman's a fucking hero. Georgia Brown
Yeah,
was
Georgia
like,
Brown.
we're going to do this. And so she was making monthly trips out there to go look at these kids, doing her best, trying to figure out a way to get something on Roch
Right.
so they can get the kids out of there.
Yeah. She dug deep into the inner workings of the camp instead of taking everything at face value as her fucking colleagues had. And she soon discovered that the kids were only fed corn and cabbage for every meal. The kids didn't even get potatoes. Like, potatoes was for earners. Potatoes was for winners.
Yeah.
Horrifically, Roch also implied to her that he was raising the female children to join his harem of wives long before reaching the age of consent. But he didn't say he was doing that. She just asked him if he was doing it, and he like shrugged his shoulders.
He's like,
And
I
said-
don't
he's like,
know.
maybe. Meanwhile, Roch was telling the children, who now numbered 14, that the social workers were all Satan's helpers, each and every one born with the heart of a dog.
Oh yeah, I always think that about social workers. Just like, they're in it for the money and the fame.
It's the money that the big thing. And I keep saying this.
And the recognition.
They get so much
thanking,
recognition.
How much thanking they
we
get.
don't just absolutely praise the wrong people in society.
Absolutely not. I want to see be the first one to bravely say in a podcast, I think social workers are overpaid and overvalued.
Absolutely, and it's about time someone addressed the fact that $45K for what? For what?
Well, as a result, all this
That was
fucking-
sarcastic.
Yes, that
I
was
think- yes, people
extraordinarily
know.
sarcastic.
People know.
As a result,
But
the
good-
whole heart
honestly,
of the
good
dog
job.
thing. Yeah, good job. The kids would scream and run away from the social workers whenever they showed, while the parents just sat and stared. And then there was another death. In January of 1985, under Roch's command, Gabrielle Lavallee wrapped her 5-year-old child Eliezer in a blanket and placed him in a wheelbarrow in 22-degree weather and left him out there for over an hour. Baby turned blue and died. But, since there was, and normally, Roch had proclaimed, they shall never take another body of a child from this place. There was a lot of attention on the commune. They would, the social workers would know next time they came, like, hey, there's a baby missing from the list here.
Right.
They called an ambulance using Roch's CB radio, and they told the local doctor who came, oh, the baby just died. We came in, the baby was dead. So the doctor just wrote SIDS as the cause of death and said, all right, y'all be good now.
Just peel back a layer and just see, like...
That's what she tried to do. I remember because Georgia Brown is mortified. I remember the one story that when she showed up unannounced because he's trying to make them to give them more notice. Like he said, you guys need to start giving me 2 days notice before you guys come. And Georgia Brown was like, fuck that.
Yeah, exactly.
She showed up one time and everybody was in their hut. She couldn't find anybody. They were all hidden away except they found Roch naked, standing on a stump, screaming to his CB that the fucking Armageddon was coming, doing the Armageddon coming, like having a full drunken meltdown.
He just looks at her and he's like, oh, is it Wednesday already?
Oh, man.
I'm sorry. I just didn't even have
I lost track of time.
Good
Now,
Lord.
most of the other social workers wrote off the death of Eliezer as no big deal. But Georgia saw the entire situation for exactly what it was.
Yeah, are these social workers, like, do they look at an orange and not realize there's a fruit inside?
It's hard.
They're just like, oh, yeah, can't eat that. That's too bad. Like, why? Investigate, please.
Well, Georgia sought out a group called COMA, short for the Council on Mind Control. And after confirming that COMA were not Scientologists,
Yeah, she had to check that. She's smart. She's smart.
Very
The
smart.
only way to solve this cult is to get another bigger cult.
No, Georgia Brown's incredible. But she contacted COMA for their opinion. And after COMA heard about the polygamy, the constant monitoring of members, the division of children into classes, the use of biblical names, the isolation, the rationing of food, and the acceptance of one person as the sourse of all knowledge,
Tick.
the head of COMA turned to his wife and said, Christine, I think we got ourselves a cult.
We got one!
That's amazing.
This is the scene from Ghostbusters.
I know. And by the way, did you know Ghostbusters was going to be called Ghost Breakers? But
Yes.
They finally got the rights to Ghostbusters.
Yeah. Now, as Georgia returned to the commune again and again, she noticed the behavior of the children was increasingly strange. They never moved or uttered a sound, never laughed, never cried, never ran. In other words, they didn't act like children. As far as why none of the members left, despite the abuse heaped on the children, Roch had convinced them that if they were to leave, God would strike them down. God would kill them if they left.
This is where you just gotta take the leap.
Let me just see.
You just gotta jump out. I just promise you're not gonna get killed.
Well, in October 1985, Maurice Grenier did. She finally left, but
God.
only after Roch gave her permission. She begged him to let her go for months, and Roch finally decided that keeping her there would become a morale problem, which would make controlling the other members more difficult. And so Maurice left. She moved back in with her parents and began a months-long process of reintegrating herself back into society. Once she was out, she confirmed for Georgia Brown just how fucking awful things really were for the children at Burnt River.
Now, this next little bit is what I'm going to call the Christmas frown section.
Oh, no, that's not good.
If you want to have yourself a Christmas frown, like I did yesterday, proceed.
Okay.
Well, Maurice said that Roch had used the children in sexual games that involved group masturbation, and Roch would involve the kids in bizarre rituals where the adults and the kids would dance around a fire naked. Then the adults would conduct an orgy while the kids watched. Roch would also have the children masturbate in front of him as a form of sexual education, claiming that it would awaken their sexuality, and more than one child was forced to masturbate Roch himself.
Very David Berge. This is the David Berg section.
Absolutely. As far as physical abuse went, he'd throw the children into the lake or against trees when he was drunk, calling them devils.
So much kid tossing in this.
A lot. Other times, he'd hang them by trees with nails driven into their clothing in mock crucifixions, then direct adults to throw rocks before calling it off at the last second. On more than one occasion, he'd hold 2 infants above a fire, roaring with laughter, while saying that he might throw one of the babies into the flames, but there was no telling which one, all while the mothers begged and pleaded for their child to be saved.
There are scenes, straight up, there are scenes from a horror movie in this where it's like the one story that they had where Roch had a kid raise a goat. He's just been like, this is your pet, you love this goat. And then he took the goat and he took all of the chosen kids out to a field, dug a hole, and then killed the goat inside of the hole while they were all watching, slit its throat, spread blood and intestines all over himself, and then came out being like, I am resurrected, to a bunch of kids not applauding.
Jesus.
Infants would be thrown into the lake for crying, children would be thrown against walls or put in cages as punishment, and no one was allowed to show the children any affection or comfort besides Roch.
Punishment, pleasure. Punishment, pleasure. I'm the only one who gives it. I'm the only one who takes it away. I'm God's cousin.
What if I just show up with an AR-15 and kill you?
Yeah, fucking someone. I wish someone had.
I mean, you may ask why no one did anything, but Jock did try once to say, this is fucked up. This is awful.
Well, I thought that when Jock got out, he was nice about it. Didn't he go to the press?
Different Jock. There's
different
two
Jocks. There's two
Jocks.
Jocks.
I forgot we were in French Canadian. Okay, different Jock.
Yeah. Well, when Jock spoke up, Roch, without thinking about it, smashed a wine goblet and slit his fucking throat. Right then and there. Cut his jugular vein. The only thing that saved Jock's life was Gabrielle. She was a former nurse, so she wrapped it up. Otherwise, that's like Roch showed immediately. If you question me, I will
fuck you
murder. I will murder you on the spot.
Right.
And you might also ask, like, why not just kill him? Why not just incapacitate him? Especially since he's abusing everyone's children.
Right.
They believed with 100% certainty that Roch was God's emissary, and Roch's will was therefore the will of God.
They had seen him commit quote unquote miracles. They had said that they had given up so much. And as of all the cults we've covered, this group has given up so much of their own humanity to this person. So the idea of questioning it would bring into light and put a spotlight on the things you did and allowed to happen in your company. So now it's just getting deeper. It's getting worse and worse and worse and worse.
Right. At some point, don't you just have to look at these satanic social workers and be like, let's just go check it out. Let's just follow them and see what this Satan world's all about.
Satan's all about.
Now, it was only after Maurice told authorities about all the horrors that anything was done. And as soon as it all came to light, the children were swiftly taken away from the Burnt River commune and placed into foster care. But as far as Roch was concerned, the kids were a necessary sacrifice in order to keep his narcissistic fantasy land going. He didn't particularly care.
Okay, but usually when there's 10 kids brought to foster care, there's also a few adults that are brought into a different kind of care system.
No, they just took the kids. They just left everybody else. They just came and scooped out. I mean, to be honest, great. I think it's great because you can't really do anything with a quote unquote consenting adult over the age of 18. You just can't because they can't choose to be there. Well, yes,
Well,
you can
we'll
arrest
get to that
them
in a second.
That's next. But the goal is, at least they scoop the kids. And apparently they just showed up in force. And that he just sat there because he was surrounded by cops. And
what are you going to do?
He just let them take no fight. He just everybody dress him up and get him out of here.
Right.
Well, he didn't care. Roch Thériault didn't care about the children at all. The children were a nuisance.
Even his own kids. He didn't even particularly give a shit. Yeah.
And since he had separated the children from their parents emotionally, they didn't really care either. They just kind of watched, and then when they were gone, it's like, Okay, back to work. But even though Georgia Brown was doing everything she could to make sure none of those kids would ever return to the commune, a colleague in charge of psychologically testing the children, woman named Martine Milkovich, determined that these kids weren't disturbed at all.
Oh my
Nothing
God.
was wrong with them, and nothing bad had happened to them. She fell for Roch's charm routine so hard, she might as well have been a fucking member of the cult herself.
Wow.
She said that exposing the children to sex was fine because it was a part of nature, and she applauded Roch's pioneering spirit and courage.
This is what I was going to bring up before. It's this weird idea that they were trying to overly, like, I'm trying to figure out how to express this. They were
trying to be overly sensitive.
They were trying to be
it sounds like.
overly sensitive to a group of people that basically she said this is just a racist move against francophones in the forest.
A different person said that.
But yeah, like, you know, but that's the pervasive idea, right? That they because they are a French-speaking rural group, you think that they're stupid, but oh no, this is their religious freedom to do all this shit.
Right.
It's very fucked up. I don't know how you get to that point when you think about what happened.
Well, you don't want to be seen as a bigot against the French.
No!
The most open-minded people on earth.
Yeah, over there they even pronounce it bigot.
That ain't right. That ain't right.
Yeah, this other woman, Lisette LaRoche, like, she actually started feeding information from Georgia Brown's office to Roch Thériault himself.
Oh my God, what a frickin' snitch and a scumbag.
Well, she was the one that was convinced that they were persecuted because they were francophones in an English-speaking environment and thought that all of this was completely and totally unfair. Both those psychologists dismissed all allegations of child abuse. They demanded that the children be returned to the commune. And as of the writing of Savage Messiah, 7 years after the fact, Martine Milkovich proudly stood by her assessment. Because for some reason, I will never fucking fathom, there are some people on this earth like her who will always bow down to a narcissist.
Yeah.
Right.
That's why they found it. That's how they find their groups.
Yeah, that's how it works.
But thankfully, the judge in charge of the case agreed with Georgia Brown, who couldn't believe the shit she was hearing from these other two women, and the children were taken away for good. However, it was also ruled that there wasn't enough evidence to prosecute Roch for all of the alleged abuses, because frankly, it all just seemed too fucked up and bizarre to believe. But the removal of the children seemed to break something in Roch Thériault. Whatever it was that was keeping his most violent tendencies somewhat at bay was now gone, and Burnt River was truly about to become a hell on earth for the Anthill kids. And that's where we'll conclude our series.
All right, so he fell in the ooze, and now he is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So this was the best version
Are
of
you
Roch.
comparing him to Super Shredder?
Yeah.
He is.
Yeah.
You know what I see? You know what this whole
Although
thing...
Super Shredder was probably better with kids, honestly.
Probably.
Foot Clan,
Yeah.
Yeah. What's Kevin
think
Nash
about it,
good
he
with
raised...
kids?
Yeah, he raised Bebop and Rocksteady fine.
Yeah, and they were a hog people.
You know what this whole makes me episode. You know what this whole episode makes me feel.
How's
like,
that?
Like, have yourself.
You want to sing that?
Merry.
You want to sing that song right now?
It's just ooh.
You're
I
just like
feel,
Mariah Carey.
Oh, I am just like her, same cup size.
Maybe.
Deeply depressed by the story. And next week it's Christmas time, so
It's
we're not
Christmas.
gonna be back directly next week. We're gonna have a special episode for you next week. And we're gonna wrap this up the week after Christmas. Don't worry, we're gonna get into but it's not even bad yet.
It's not bad yet, but
It's
of course
not even bad yet.
The
It is
child
very
abuse
bad.
is extraordinarily bad.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But as far as the violence towards the adults go, yeah, we haven't even touched on it.
Okay,
The
well, we did
worst
have
of
someone lose both of his balls, so I think we did touch on it.
And technically,
But that's okay.
if you kill balls, it's like you're killing 1 million people.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Is that weird to say?
all right,
Now
everyone.
I'm saying it.
Well,
Henry's the Samuel Clemens of the podcast now.
Yeah, it's
as long
me.
as I can be Mark Twain, I'll be happy. Well, thank
Now
you all.
have it again.
All right, give it back to me. Thank you all so much for listening, and yes, we'll be back. I hope you enjoy Christmas. Hope you have a fine vacation.
Or whatever
I know
it is
it's
that
out-
you-
Or yeah, whatever. Of course,
Because there's Saturnalia, there's
Saturnalia.
There's Boxing Day. What's that day?
I think that's the Australian. That's like July 4th for Australia.
That does something, right? They got shit over there. I don't know what that
It's
is.
not even close to Christmas, though.
We're right in the middle of Hanukkah right now.
We're right in the middle of Hanukkah.
I think technically, is it over?
It might be over. I think last night was
Is it over?
I think it was the 8th day of Hanukkah yesterday. We could do this all day. This is fun. But honestly, we wish you all the best, and thank you so much for being with us throughout this entire. We're just gonna say air quotes interesting year. And
I'll kill you.
If you don't have,
I'll fucking kill you with my bare hands.
But you know what? It's not always about gifts. It's just about community sometimes. So just remember that about this holiday season. Don't matter.
It's about thought.
Walmart.
It's about thought, and it's about, you know what? This is a really good time. I'm going to do my the ending from Scrooged. This is a really good time to reach out to somebody you haven't talked to in a long time. This is a really good time to do that, like a phone call. I mean, it's not free.
It does work,
but a phone call helps.
Very important.
This is the time. Maybe an old college person.
Sure. Maybe.
Like that guy that taught you how to masturbate when you were staying out in the middle of the woods at Quebec.
You could probably leave that phone call to the authorities.
And it's okay that Cyberpunk 2077 was a massive disappointment in every way possible. It's fine. We'll get through it together.
You're
saying that to yourself.
Unprompted. I usually mention things that have nothing to do with the show, but I know.
It's fine that we placed all of our hopes and dreams on this stupid fucking video game and then it was a massive disappointment. It's okay. We'll get over it together.
It's supposed to be better on PS5.
I'm playing Civ 6.
Okay. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for listening. Hail yourself.
Hail Satan. Oh, check out all the other shows. You got to get good this week.
Abling and Stop Pat, Kind of Fun. Those are my shows. And then we have Wizard of the Bruiser.
Side Work. Great episode with Natalie Jean this week talking about her experiences working for Hot Topic back in the day.
Cool.
She was real spicy back then. She was real spicy, and she's still real spicy.
Oh, yes,
my wife
indeed.
also worked for Hot Topic.
Yeah.
It's almost like they had a brand, like a type, to fit into that brand.
What, hot women? Yeah, hell yeah.
Point. Yeah. All right, everyone. Hail yourselves.
Hail Satan.
Helgin.
Magustalations.
And this holiday season, just remember, fucking hail me. And no one else.
Well, that's what Roch Thériault would say, so you don't want that.
I don't want what he did.
Always
I'll be
say,
cool. You're free to go. That's what I'll say. You're free to go.
I like that you like me, but I also have no problem if you like other people. I
want you to like me, and I want you to like other people, because then if you like me, then then it's nice, because then I'm a group of people that you like.
This is connections. This is how connections are formed.
Community.
Yeah.
Interesting.
One brick at a time.
One brick at a time.
This show is made possible by listeners like you. Thanks to our ad sponsors, you can support our shows by supporting them. For more shows like the one you just listened to, go to lastpodcastnetwork.com.
Talk about regrets. We all know someone who's been in a car accident and said, I don't need to call a lawyer, only to regret it after their pain and damages were worse than expected. When someone hurts you, you deserve to be compensated fairly. Morgan & Morgan is America's largest injury law firm, fighting for the people for over 35 years. Injured? Visit forthepeople.com/podcast. That's forthepeople.com/podcast. Their fee is free unless they win.
When your day doesn't slow down, getting protein in should be easy. And with Muscle Milk, it is. Muscle Milk has a great tasting new formula with no artificial sweeteners, flavors, or added colors. Whether you're commuting, between meetings, or after a workout, Muscle Milk gives you protein whenever you need it. Available in chocolate, vanilla cream, cookies and cream, and strawberries and cream. Try the new great tasting Muscle Milk today. Available in stores nationwide. Muscle Milk, protein for all.